Alrighty, good evening to those in Jamaica, Hispaniola, mainly southwestern Dominican Republic, the entirety of Haiti, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands, southeastern and central Bahamas, as well as southeastern Cuba, Bermuda, and maybe even southeastern Canada. We are again going to be discussing Hurricane Melissa and its northwards turn towards Jamaica. Now let's check if this is actually running or not. Is this stream working? Or is it a disaster right now? Let's see. Please don't tell me I accidentally clicked private. There we go. Okay, in theory, it should be working. Let me just check the live chat to double check. If you guys can hear me, can you please let me know? And now I will be sharing the stream. There we go. Okay, I see someone already in the chat. There we go. Hello, how are you all doing today? Do you guys still have power? I'm gonna probably add a poll here. Let me just send it to different areas right now. I'm just sharing the stream on other social media platforms, letting them know I'm going live. And then we will get right into it. Alright, in theory, it has now been sent to Facebook as well as Blue Sky, and in theory we should be live. Okay. There we go. Alright. Now, let's get into, I'm going to do a poll real quick because I'm curious as to how many of you still have power. Let's see, start a poll. Do you still have power? Let's see, yes or no. Just going to add that in, and we'll see some of the responses. Alright, now let's get actually into it now, discussing the forecast cone. So it is currently a Category 5. It may try to weaken or it may try to strengthen some, still being a Category 5 by tomorrow morning, by Tuesday morning, still a powerful Category 5, before slamming into southwestern Jamaica as a Category 5 strength system. It will then move across the island, and by Tuesday night it should be exiting Jamaica as still a powerful Category 4. It is forecasted to slam into southern Cuba as a Category 4 or 3 strength system, delivering major impacts for wind. That would be on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. By Wednesday morning, it should be a Category 2 moving across Cuba, and by Wednesday night, it should be over the Bahamas there as still a Category 2 or 3 strength system. That would be Tuesday nights, I believe, or sorry, this would be Wednesday night, and by Thursday morning it will likely strengthen back to a major hurricane, and by Thursday night it is expected to be nearing Bermuda as a Category 2 there, and overnight on Thursday into Friday nights it is still expected to be a hurricane, and by Saturday nights it should be by Newfoundland, where it could still be a hurricane strength system, delivering potentially marginal impacts to Atlantic Canada. After that, though, it is expected to dissipate beyond the 5-day range. So this is a look at the 5-day cone. Now, I do want to discuss the impacts here, because there's a large area expected to see impacts still from the system. Hispaniola's impacts are going down, but Jamaica's impacts, eastern Jamaica is going down a little bit. Western Jamaica's gone up, and Cuba's gone up, and parts of the Bahamas have gone down a little bit. Bermuda's the same, and Atlantic Canada's gone up a little bit. So let's discuss the impacts here. So there is a portion of southwestern Dominican Republic there, all in that marginal impacts, including the entirety of Haiti, the Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as Bermuda, and parts of Nova Scotia, as well as the majority of the Bahamas there, the southeastern half of the Bahamas, and southeastern Cuba, as well as Jamaica. They're all in that marginal category of additional marginal impacts expected from the system. Now moving over to the slight category, there is an area for southwestern Dominican Republic and southern Haiti in that slight category. And it does include parts of the Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as Bermuda, as well as some of the southeastern Bahamian Islands, which I do believe does include, I'm not going to try to pronounce that just yet. In southeastern Cuba, and again, the entirety of Jamaica highlighted in that slight category. Now, going up to moderate impacts, that does include parts of the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, as well as, again, the entirety of Jamaica, as well as portions of southeastern Cuba, as well as some of the Bahamian Islands. Wherever it's expected to make a landfall, could be seeing hurricane force winds and a decent amount of rainfall from the system. Bermuda is no longer included in that moderate category range. Going up to now the possibility of major impacts, there is the possibility of major impacts being seen along the along the eastern coast of Cuba there, the northeastern portions of Cuba, mainly because this could be rolling through as a major hurricane. It's still uncertain as to how strong it will be by the time it exits Jamaica. There is also highlighted areas in parts of the Bahamas there, mainly Long Island, Acklands, and Crooked Island, and that's a possibility of major impacts because it could be rolling through as a Category 3 strength system. Now, looking at the areas that are expected to see major impacts from this system, it does include portions of, let's see here, portions of northwestern Guantanamo, parts of southern Holguin province, and parts of southeastern Granma province, and the entirety of Santiago de Cuba provinces in Cuba. Now, looking at this would now be, let me just pull this up on my other laptop here. In terms of major impacts now for portions of Jamaica, that does include Portland, St. Thomas, St. Andrew, St. Mary, as well as St. Catherine and Clarendon, all expected to see major impacts from this storm. Now, I would say eastern portions of St. Thomas and eastern portions of Portland may be downgraded from major impacts down to, I'd say, moderate impacts now. They already got in a lot of rain from the system, and thankfully those rainfall totals are now going to be, additional rainfall totals are starting to go down for you there. Let's see here. Now, going over to the possibility of catastrophic impacts, that does include some areas and parts of Cuba that I would like to mention. For parts of Cuba, it does include a corridor from the border of Santiago de Cuba and Guantanamo all the way over to eastern Granma provinces in Cuba there, potentially seeing catastrophic impacts in terms of rainfall totals. Now, going over to Jamaica, there is a corridor here which does include Hanover and St. James, as well as western Trelawney and eastern St. Anne there in that category of potentially catastrophic impacts. It does also include parts of Clarendon and Manchester with that, well, not really actually. They are expected to see catastrophic impacts. Now let's discuss the areas that are expected to see catastrophic impacts. There is a portion for southeastern Granma province in Cuba, which is expected to see catastrophic impacts in terms of rainfall, 20 to 30 inches of rain from the system. And also portions of Jamaica still are expected to see catastrophic impacts, which does include southeastern Trelawney and western St. Anne, as well as portions of northwestern Clarendon, the entirety of Manchester, the entirety of St. Elizabeth, the entirety of Westmoreland as well are expected to all see catastrophic impacts from the system, both from the rain and from the wind. The rain seems to be the biggest threat for portions of St. Anne, Trelawney, and Manchester, but the wind seems to be the biggest problem for St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland in terms of catastrophic impacts, though. So Western Jamaica is expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system as it rolls through, likely as a Category 5 strength system. And I do want to reiterate the fact that Cuba could as well see catastrophic impacts from this system in portions of southeastern Granma province. Let me just see if this is working. All right. Now let's discuss some other things. Now I can't really discuss the overview of like worldwide look of tropics right now because I haven't been able to make that graphic just yet because I'm mainly focusing on Melissa. I will probably have one out tomorrow night though, discussing the Philippine system as well as the system headed towards India. Now I do want to show some of the satellite imagery of the system. Tropical Tidbits has been a little finicky because of how many people are using the website. Well, the sun has set over Melissa there, and you can still see a well-defined eye, and it is beginning to make a little bit more of a northward turn. It has wobbled to the west, but now it's kind of stalled a little bit, so we should start to see it move more to the northeast. And now what this will do is it could cause it to strengthen even further because it is starting to feel the effects of a jet interaction. You can already see some great outflow on the northern side from the system, which northeastern motions will induce what's called a jet interaction with the system, which could allow for further intensification and even exceeding its maximum potential intensity in this region. Now, let's look at the latest infrared imagery on here, and we can see those cloud tops are cooling once again, which means it could be trying to strengthen even further right now. Winds are likely around, I believe, 175 to 180 miles an hour at this point. National Hurricane Center is going a little bit more conservative, but I do believe it may be at their intensity or a little bit stronger than that. We can see now some of the portions of southwestern, let's see, let me zoom out on this real quick on my laptop. All right, southwestern St. Elizabeth and southwestern or southern Manchester and southeastern Westmoreland are getting some of those outer core of this system, outer CDO here. with portions of Kingston not getting as intense showers and thunderstorms, but we are seeing some of these rain bands moving through across Jamaica. In terms of Cuba, they aren't really getting a whole lot just yet. And same for Hispaniola, though, including southwestern peninsula of Haiti, is getting some of those outer rain bands, though. That's why they are expected to see additional moderate impacts from the system. Now, let's see if this is working. All right, so sea surface temperatures are going to be even warmer in portions of southwestern Jamaica, which could allow for it to strengthen even further. 30 to 31 degrees Celsius are the waters there near Jamaica. Waters are expected to cool down a little bit after it passes through Cuba. Again, I did see some questions about why is like it should make landfall in Jamaica. Why doesn't it weaken more after by the time it reaches Cuba? Well, the problem is even though these are mountainous terrains, the system is already such a powerful major hurricane. It's not even just a minimal Category 5. It's a higher end Category 5. So these mountains, even if it weakens, weakening it significantly would only bring it down to a Category 3 or 4. And these waters are incredibly warm there still between Jamaica and Cuba. So really, it's going to help to try and maintain its intensity by the time it slams into Cuba. Afterwards, though, waters will begin to cool down to around anywhere from 26 to 30 degrees Celsius when it enters the southwestern Atlantic, which should help to try and prevent any extreme intensification out of the system or any rapid intensification, but a jet interaction could intensify it after it leaves the Bahamas, or even before it impacts the Bahamas. Oceanic heat content or tropical cyclone heat potential are extremely warm where it's located at right now, or extremely high where it's located at right now, and it's expected to continue to be high over north of Jamaica and south of Cuba in that region right there. It is going to speed up, so oceanic heat content is going to matter as much as sea surface temperatures do. But right now, again, oceanic heat content is very high, so really all this stalling is not really impacting the system that much. Alright, now let's pull up the other environmental conditions here in terms of its forecast. Here, again, shear is beginning to increase, and this will continue to skyrocket after it leaves the Caribbean and enters the southwestern Atlantic. Sea surface temperatures are again expected to cool down pretty quickly by the time it nears Bermuda and moving generally out to sea, maybe impacting Atlantic Canada. Relative humidity, drier air is also going to be impacting the system. So conditions are going to be deteriorating after it leaves the Bahamas. Unfortunately, you guys are going to be getting the worst of it. Not really going to be weakening a whole lot before reaching you. Now let's discuss the distances from some of these parishes now in Jamaica. Where the system is right now is currently located right over here. In terms of its longitude, it's west of Jamaica, so it's been moving more west than forecasted, which is great news for Jamaica there. Looking less and less likely that it's going to be like slamming portions of St. Elizabeth, but looking more likely that it's going to be slamming Westmoreland. We're hoping that it misses Jamaica just to the west, but it is beginning to make that northward curve right now. Trying to. It's doing a lot of wobbling. In terms of where it's located in distances, it is closest to St. Elizabeth, around 106 miles away from the south or southern coast. Looking at Manchester, it's around 120 miles away. Clarendon, it looks to be around 120 miles away from you there. St. Catherine, around 135 miles. St. Andrew looks to be around 150 miles, and that goes for Kingston as well, 155 miles. St. Thomas looks to be around 160 miles away. Portland is around 170. St. Mary looks to be around 160. St. Anne looks to be only around 140 miles away. Trelawney's down to 130 miles away. St. James is down to 125 miles away, and Hanover is roughly 125 miles away from you there. Looking at portions of Cuba, the Cuban provinces there, southwestern or southern Granma province in Cuba, around 235 miles away. Santiago de Cuba looks to be around 270 miles away, and Guantanamo looks to be around 325 miles away from you there. In terms of the Bahamas, it looks to be around, let's see, I'm almost got the name nailed down in here. Acklins and Crooked Island, it looks to be around 500 miles away from you there, where it could be making a landfall as a potentially major hurricane. Bermuda looks to be around 1,400 miles away, and Atlantic Canada is up to around 2,500 miles away from you there. All right. That is the distances. Now let's take a look at some of these models, mainly the European run, what it wants, and let's zoom out a bit. Okay, again, these websites are not doing that great because everyone's trying to use them right now. So I'm not sure if I can show all this just yet. Nope, probably won't be able to show you that, but we can discuss the latest forecast in terms of impacts in cities. Let's discuss the rainfall forecast, though. This is from the National Hurricane Center and Weather Prediction Center. In terms of Jamaica, let's see here. This would be the far western portions of Hanover are expected to see 6 to 8 inches of rain. Now, the western portions of Hanover and western Westmoreland, as well as eastern Portland and eastern St. Thomas, are expected to see 8 to 12 inches of rain from the system. And that does also include southern Clarendon and southern St. Catherine. Now, looking at portions of central Hanover and central Westmoreland, as well as nearly the entirety of St. Mary and the entirety of mainly western Portland, northwestern St. Thomas, and around the entirety of St. Andrew and Kingston, majority of St. Catherine, central Clarendon, and southeastern Manchester are expected to see 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall from this system. And going towards eastern Hanover, eastern Westmoreland, the entirety of St. James, northwestern Trelawney, northwestern St. Elizabeth, around southeastern Manchester, central Clarendon, and northeastern St. Anne and northwestern St. Catherine, they are expected to see 16 to 20 inches of additional rainfall totals. Now, going to the 20 to 30 inches of rain, this is going to be the catastrophic rainfall totals. That is going to be expected for eastern St. Elizabeth, southeastern Trelawney, western St. Anne, northwestern Clarendon, and majority of Manchester, the northern portions of Manchester there, in that 20 to 30 inch range of catastrophic additional rainfall totals. So the impacts you already got right now, you still got catastrophic impacts to go. You're not through the worst of it. Portions of eastern St. Thomas, though, they've gone through already a lot of it, but they are expected to still see moderate to major impacts from the system. Looks like the impact threat for you in eastern Jamaica, far eastern Jamaica, is starting to decrease as you've already gotten a decent amount of rain. Alright, and let's see here. Is any of this other stuff out? I will discuss the key messages if this loads. Again, websites have been a little bit finicky. Alright, so key messages for Jamaica. You all need to be remaining in your safe shelter and do not venture outside. Catastrophic, life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides are expected through Tuesday. The eyewall's destructive winds may cause total structural failure, particularly in higher elevations, leading to widespread infrastructural damage, prolonged power and communication outages, and isolated communities. Along the southern coast, life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds are anticipated through Tuesday. For Haiti and the Dominican Republic, catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across portions of southern Haiti and southern portions of the Dominican Republic through midweek. In Haiti, extensive infrastructural damage and isolation of communities is likely. Tropical storm conditions are expected late Tuesday and Wednesday. For eastern Cuba, heavy rainfall with life-threatening and potentially catastrophic flash flooding and landslides is expected to begin by tonight. Life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds are expected late Tuesday and Tuesday night. Preparations should be rushed to completion. For southeastern and central Bahamas, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands, hurricane conditions, life-threatening storm surge, and heavy rainfall are expected across portions of the southeastern and central Bahamas on Wednesday. Residents should follow advice given by local officials and be sure to have preparations completed by Tuesday night. Tropical storm conditions, heavy rains, and a significant storm surge is expected for the Turks and Caicos Islands on Wednesday. Alright. And that is, in the super ensemble cluster, I believe this is the most recent cluster here. You can see that the consensus has shifted a little bit more to the west here, nearing portions of Newfoundland there. With a decent amount, like around 25% chance that they see impacts from this system. So I'd be watching this if you're in Newfoundland. Should be a much weaker system by the time it reaches you. Now let's answer some questions in the chat on this system. Let's see, thank you. I see you guys where you all are watching from. Oh, dang, a lot of power. Okay, yeah, 12% still do not have power. Okay. See, these are cool cones that you make. Thank you so much. Let's see. I'm not in Jamaica. I'm watching because I'm interested. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see. You're praying from Canada. Jamaica has a very special place in our hearts. Yes, please be safe and take care of your neighbors, guys. It's not weakening, is it? It's a little bit uncertain as to whether or not the storm is weakening. Right now, though, it's still a dangerous Category 5, and it should slam into Jamaica as either a Category 4 or 5. I'd be expecting catastrophic impacts, though, for portions of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth and Manchester, as it could be rolling through as a Category 5 strength system. Let's see, is Kingston still going to be flooded? Kingston is expected to see additional major impacts from this system, as they could see anywhere from, let me just zoom out here, 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall totals are expected for you there. So major flooding concerns are still expected for you. Let's see, the worst part of Melissa is moving about as slow as someone walking. Yeah, you could be walking faster than Melissa's moving. How far is Melissa away from Jamaica? Let's discuss that. In terms of its distance from Jamaica, it looks to be around 110 miles away from where it was forecasted to make landfall, roughly 115 miles away from the westernmost tip, around the Negril region of Jamaica. I'm so happy for you letting us know about the information, of course. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are only 35 away from 4.5 thousand. It really helps out a lot when, whoops, I did not mean to delete that section of the storm card on the top. There we go. Okay. Whoops, I did not know how long that was gone for, but there it is. It's back up. All right. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that was glitched. All right. Let's see. If the storm missing Jamaica because it's to the south, it could try to move a little bit to the west of Jamaica. In fact, let's pull up the most recent Google AI Ensemble members. Some of these Ensemble members do have it missing Jamaica now, which is good, but I mean, they're still going to be seeing catastrophic impacts in terms of the rainfall totals. Okay, let's take a look at the probabilities from the Google AI Ensembles. Still, they're showing a 100% chance of a landfall, but it's a little bit more to the let's see, the coordinates here are going to be 16.5 degrees north and around 78.5 west. Let's pull that up. 16.5 there, and then 70 what? What did I do here? Hold on. 16.5 and 78.5 there. So 78.5 looks to be around here. 16.5. They're doing a good job of where the system's supposed to be right now. They've gone a little bit more west than the National Hurricane Center has. So they're doing a decent job on their forecast. Now, in terms of landfall, 100% chance from from the Google AI Ensemble members here that it does make a landfall in Jamaica. Now, in terms of probabilities in which parish, we can go through that. There's around a 2% chance that it makes landfall in Clarendon, with only one really ensemble showing that. Let's see, 1, 2, around a 4% chance of it making landfall in Manchester. And looking at Westmoreland, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's around a 16% chance it makes landfall there. So adding that up, that would be around a 22% chance. So that would be around a 78% chance that now it makes landfall in St. Elizabeth. I would really be paying attention to this in Westmoreland, though, because any more shift to the west, and you will be getting these chances upped dramatically. But still looking most likely it's going to be making that catastrophic impact into St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland. It's continuing to shift more and more to the west. Let's hope it continues to do that. Let's see what else here. Other questions here. Chad, is it possible that this can reach 180 miles an hour or more? I believe it could already be 180 mile an hour winds right now, sustained winds. These gusts are probably over 200 miles an hour easily. In terms of gust with Jamaica, you all could be seeing 200 mile an hour gust from the system, depending on where the core of it actually moves on shore. Will Florida get the outer bands? I don't expect it. Now, in terms of outflow, maybe they get some outflow from it, these cirrus clouds. And it's approaching Florida, looks like. Some of those outflows. So you could be seeing some higher clouds from the system, some wispy clouds from it. That would be interesting to see over portions of Florida. So going back to it, and let's answer some more questions. Yeah, it could have another peak right before landfall. Is this going to be the strongest hurricane landfall in the Atlantic Basin? It could be. Winds are already now likely around 175, 180 miles an hour, and we are getting recon data right now. So it could be slamming into Jamaica with winds of up to 185 miles an hour. That could be that's the record. 190 would break it. This will be the strongest landfall in Jamaican history, though. If it does make a landfall, that will be by far the strongest system ever in Jamaican history. Guys, I think this is probably the last storm of the season. It could be. Let's hope this is the last storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. Again, though, the Atlantic hurricane season continues until November 30th, so remember, guys, I will keep you updated throughout it if there's another system headed your way, so please consider subscribing if you haven't already. See, I hope Bermuda gets spared. Yeah, Bermuda's been hit multiple times this year getting impacts from this system. They are expected to see slight impacts from it. From this system, though. So that's why they're kind of included in this forecast graphic. I've zoomed it out a little bit more. This means that Melissa will be the strongest storm of the season, correct? Yes, Melissa is likely, under my analysis, the strongest storm in the Atlantic hurricane season so far. Watching from the western side of Jamaica, oh boy, you could be seeing catastrophic impacts from the system. The closer you are to the coast along western Jamaica, the more likely you're going to be seeing catastrophic impacts. Someone says Jamaica isn't getting hit. I said this yesterday, I'm telling you. Let's hope, okay, guys? Let's hope and pray that this does not hit Jamaica. There's this chance here in the forecast cone. It stays in this forecast cone 2/3 of the time. Right? There's a 1/3 chance that it exits this cone. And let's hope it does that 1/3 chance there, that it exits here. But overall, though, most of the ensemble members show it making landfall. All 50 ensemble members from the Google AI model show it making landfall in Jamaica. Let's just hope that a miracle happens and it misses. Let's see. Is it moving away from Jamaica? It's moving mainly to the west. We are going to see an update from the National Hurricane Center, which shows more of its movements. Interesting to see where they had the positioning most recently. It's a lot more of a wobble to the west, and now it's kind of stalling a bit. And we should be beginning to see a turn to the north there with this system. Yes, Melissa was a tropical storm on Saturday. The rapid intensification is insane. This is what we call extreme intensification or explosive intensification. Watching from Sav-Lamar in Westmoreland, oh man, okay, you could be seeing catastrophic impacts from this storm, and it is continuing to shift more and more to the west, so you could be seeing direct impacts from the system. Oh man, and the eye wall is almost on the Cayman Islands radar. That's quite interesting. Let's look at that radar imagery here. You can see that western eye wall there starting to appear on their radar. It's so powerful that it's being seen so far away on their radar. But it looks like you're getting some rain in Savannah Lamar already, and you can confirm in the chat. That would be great. It looks like you're already getting some impacts from the system. Again, you are forecasted to see catastrophic impacts. Yes, tomorrow's the big day for you all. I did want to mention, though, that I am going to be doing a live stream tomorrow morning. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We are 33 away from 4.5 thousand. See, I'm not going to be doing a live stream for a whole lot of time today because I am going to be waking up at around 5:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time to do another live stream on the system for when it does make its landfall. I'm sorry, guys. I am getting to your... Okay, I am getting to your questions. I'm going through them one by one here. All right, let's see. Yeah, let's hope Canada gets spared from this system. Let's see. Chengi's in the southern Indian Ocean. Let's see, is Falmouth going to get a lot of dangerous wind? Let's see where Falmouth is. If Falmouth is over there, they are expected to see major impacts from the storm with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. That does include wind and rain. You could both, or mainly be seeing the catastrophic impacts in terms of rain. You will be seeing hurricane force winds from the system, or at least hurricane force gust. Conditions are going to be deteriorating throughout tomorrow morning and really peaking out tomorrow evening, looks like, for you there, before finally calming down throughout Wednesday and on Thursday. We still have power in porous Manchester. All right, that's good for you. Oops, okay. Let's see here. Falmouth's not even getting any rain right now. That's good. Just to the north of the system there, or like just to the north of those outer bands, it seems like. I would assume you would be getting some rain from the system in those outer rain bands. Could be on and off for you there. Good evening, I'm in Westmoreland. What's the update for Negril and Sheffield? Let's discuss Negril here. All right, come on, let me pull it up here. Negril is expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system, especially due to this westward shift. That is going to be catastrophic impacts in the form of wind. Rain is expected to still be moderate. Moderate to major impacts in terms of the rainfall, but catastrophic impacts in terms of the wind forecast. The winds are expected to be the worst on Tuesday, with it then calming down on Wednesday. So tomorrow is going to be the worst day of impacts for you. Thank you, Cat Gaming, for being subscribed for over a year. Is it possible that it might miss us? It is possible. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It is entirely possible that it could miss you to the west, but you still are going to be seeing major impacts from the system. Let's really hope it goes to the west. Right now, it's been continuing going further and further and further to the west. Let's just hope this trend continues. Let's hope for a miracle. Right now, though, it's stalled, so it may start making a northward jog over the next hour or two, and then we'll know if it is moving north. Watching from St. Elizabeth here, it is crazy. Yes, unfortunately, St. Elizabeth there is getting is expected to see catastrophic impacts from rain and wind. Let's see what else here. A storm going all the way around to Jamaica to go to the United States. Doesn't seem like it's going to be doing that. Gust up to 241 miles an hour, the highest ever recorded. Yes, that is going to be possible. I would not be entirely surprised if that does happen. What radar do you recommend? I recommend using Jamaica's radar, Kingston's radar there. Cayman Islands I'm just using right now because Jamaica's radar does not appear on this website. Really wish it did. Watching from Magotty, St. Elizabeth. Hello from St. Elizabeth. Hello to you in St. Elizabeth. St. Elizabeth is expected to see catastrophic impacts. The eastern portions are expected to see catastrophic rainfall totals, with the western portions having it possible. When will you make a track on it? The Sunday after it dissipates is the one that I'll do a track animation on it. So maybe this Sunday. Hold on. Probably not this Sunday, because by Saturday nights it's still expected to be I believe. Let me check here. The system should still be going on Saturday, I think. Yes, on Saturday it's still going to be going on, so probably not this Sunday, but the next Sunday. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to see that. We are now 31 subscribers away from 4.5 thousand. Let's see, just drizzling right now in Montego Bay in Jamaica. That's good. You're on the far northern portions of the system, so you're quite far away from it, thankfully. Still getting some of those outer rain bands, though. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I am getting to your questions. Here in Savlamar, okay. Hi, first time watching the stream, getting scared a bit, though. You guys will make it through it. You guys are staying up to date, but catastrophic impacts are expected for western Jamaica, mainly southwestern Jamaica, as well as portions of southeastern Trelawney. Mainly catastrophic impacts are expected. Let's see here. I can kind of highlight it for you using this. It would be right in through here. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Yes. Okay. Catastrophic impacts are expected in here, as well as, let me then curve it down towards the south. Roughly something like this, and then it will be going something like that. That's where catastrophic impacts are expected. Catastrophic impacts are also possible in this highlighted area right over, let me just make sure I'm doing that right. I'd say right over here. This catastrophic impacts are possible, and as well as portions of, let me make sure I'm doing this right. Looks like right around here. Yes, that's where catastrophic impacts are possible in that dashed blue line, and catastrophic impacts are expected in that solid blue line, blue outline from the system. What is the exact time of landfall? Let's look at the National Hurricane Center forecast and their forecasted landfall timing. We're mainly going to be paying attention to this dots, not the winds around it there. The forecasted landfall timing from the National Hurricane Center looks to be, let me change this from UTC to local time. This is going to be Eastern Daylight Time, I believe. Wait, whoops. Did I? Yes, okay, this would be around, oh man, okay, hold on. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, this would be around morning time for you. Looks to be around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for you all in Jamaica, is when the landfall time is supposed to be. Looks like the forecasted landfall time got shifted back a bit. I'm trying to make sure that this is actually the right time. Yeah, so landfall time did get shifted back, meaning I will probably be doing the stream a little bit longer than I was forecasting to do earlier. Okay, just to make sure, so now landfall time is expected to be at noonish. I will probably be waking or doing a stream up to 3 hours before that, meaning starting at around 9 o'clock, meaning I'll wake up at 8:30, meaning I could be doing this I can be doing the stream for up to 4.5 hours if I need to. All right, this is better news, because now now I can stay up a little bit later and cover the storm more before those impacts start rolling in. Whoops. See, West End in Negril. Let's talk about the impacts in Negril. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this system in terms of the wind. Rainfall is expected to be in the moderate to major category for you there. Looks to be peaking out tomorrow. Those conditions are going to continue to deteriorate overnight, with it really peaking tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon, with it finally calming down by Wednesday morning. I would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. How about Montego Bay? Is it going to be getting terrible flooding? Montego Bay is in now the category of major impacts for rainfall, with the potential of catastrophic rainfall totals. 16 to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted for you in Montego Bay. Impacts look to be worse tomorrow, with them finally calming down on Wednesday. Can't wait for the 2025 hurricane season animation. Yes, I do animations as well, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for that. I also do animation, so I will be animating this storm to show you all guys its track, where it started, where it went towards Jamaica, and then where it finally fizzled out. So be sure to subscribe for that, and also I will be doing this at the year's Atlantic hurricane season. What's the forecast for Manatee in St. Elizabeth? Let's pull that up. Let's see, is this the region? This one looks like. Okay, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts in terms of the rainfall totals. 20 to 30 inches of additional rainfall amounts are being forecasted for you there. In terms of timing, looks like it's going to be worse tomorrow. European run has it being the worst on getting worse tomorrow morning, then peaking out in tomorrow afternoon. I will be doing a live stream covering the landfall on it, so you can, or you should subscribe and check back tomorrow morning. I am going to be doing a live stream then, likely early morning. Kat says, Chase, you also inspired me to animate. I'm so glad. I like seeing new animators. Finally, Florida spared, yes. St. James, no wind or no rain just yet. St. James is expected to see major impacts from the storm, with a possibility of catastrophic impacts, and with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches of rain being forecasted for you across the parish. See, so will it make landfall in Westmoreland? In terms of probabilities, Westmoreland has around a, whoops, let me pull this up again. Let's see here. Let me just show this again. So 2% there, 4% in Manchester, I believe. Yes, and then that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a 14% chance that it makes landfall in Westmoreland. With that was, I believe, oh wait, no, hold on. 16% chance is what I meant. Whoops. Okay. Write that again. 16% chance it makes landfall there, 4% chance it makes landfall there, 2% chance it makes landfall in Clarendon, and around a, let me just add up these totals, that would be a 78% chance that it makes landfall in St. Elizabeth. So in terms of probabilities, it makes landfall in Westmoreland, 16% chance, and those probabilities are increasing as this continues to shift to the west. What about St. Catherine? St. Catherine is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts throughout the northwestern portions. I will open up a new map on here to kind of highlight those areas in St. Catherine here. So, in terms of St. Catherine Parish, areas that are expected to see major impacts are the entirety of St. Catherine here, expected to see major impacts from the storm. Now, in terms of the possibility of seeing catastrophic impacts, that does include the northwestern portions of St. Catherine. So this area, including Wharton, Linstead, Point Hill, those areas have the possibility of seeing catastrophic rainfall totals. 16 to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted for you there. In this portion of far, far northwestern St. Catherine is expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. Will we be getting a lot of rain in Glengoff and St. Catherine? I will search up where you are there. You are expected to see major impacts from the storm. Doesn't look like you're highlighted in the area. No, you're not highlighted in the area for potentially catastrophic impacts. You still have major impacts to go with 12 to 16 additional inches of rain being forecasted for you in Glengoff. Conditions are going to be the worst tomorrow, with it finally calming down on Wednesday morning. I would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Did the track change in any way? Yes, the track has been shifting more to the west, and it looks like it's slowed down a little bit in terms of when it's expected to make that landfall. More into the late morning hours on Tuesday is the current forecasted landfall timing. What apps are you using? I use a variety of apps here. Let's see. I use Tropical Tidbits. I use Cyclonic Weather. I use RAM-B. I use Zoom Earth. I use Easterly Wave. I use Depaya. I also use, let's see, Windy. And I use the National Hurricane Center, as well as Polar Weather, Polar WX, and DeepMind Google Labs here. See, St. James, wind and rain. St. James is expected to see, let me highlight it for you there. Whoops, let me highlight it for you on this thing here. St. James is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts throughout the entire parish of St. James. You all have the possibility of seeing catastrophic impacts with the rain. 16 to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted for you in the parish of St. James. In terms of winds, you are expected to see probably major impacts from the system, because this could be rolling through your parish as a major hurricane. Old Harbor in St. Catherine, let's discuss that area. Old Harbor is expected to see, let me check this out. Old Harbor is expected to see moderate to major impacts from the system is what I'd be forecasting. Looks to be around 8 to 12 inches of rain. You guys are not going to be seeing the worst of it, I mean in terms of additional impacts. You still have already been seeing impacts from the system, so this is going to pour salt on the wound here. 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall. You still have moderate to major impacts, additional impacts to go. So round with a bit clear eyes, yes. Yes, it looks like it's going to be speeding over Jamaica instead of stalling over Jamaica, so that's better news for you there. But still, those outer bands are just stalling over you. It's moving at a snail's pace right now, very slow. It stayed put over the last hour, actually, which is not good at all. It has not really moved at all in the past hour, which means it's probably going to be making a wobble more to the north. Sandy Bay and Hanover. Okay, I will pull that area up. Let's discuss your impacts there. Sandy Bay and Hanover. Okay, you are expected to see major impacts from this storm with a possibility of I'd say, let me pull this up again on my forecast here. You are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of extreme/catastrophic impacts from this system, as it could be rolling through you as a Category 5 strength system. In terms of rainfall, you're forecasted to get around 8 to 16 inches of rain. It depends on how close the storm gets to you. See the other questions here. Whoops. The I will pass across Jamaica. It's looking most likely that will happen. Is South Boro going to get floods? The entirety of Jamaica is going to be getting floods from this system, but let's pull up that area. I cannot see that on here, unfortunately. If you mention what parish it's in, I can give you more details in terms of the floods there. Chase, you inspired me to animate Umberto. I'm glad. Do you think it will strengthen overnight? It's possible. Question, where exactly are they saying the storm might walk? Well, it looks like anywhere between the latest forecast cone, or let's talk about the Google ensembles, really anywhere from St. Catherine all the way over to west of Westmoreland really is where it's expected to go. 78% of the Google AI ensembles show it making landfall somewhere in St. Elizabeth. So you can see these ensembles are tightly clustered around St. Elizabeth here. How bad will Killitz Clarendon going to be getting hit with wind and rain? See, Clarendon, oh, okay, that's going to be an interesting forecast there. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, I think you mean right there. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this system. Let me zoom out just to make sure. Yes, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this system, unfortunately. 20 to 30 inches of rain are being forecasted for you with the rainfall. So prepare for catastrophic flooding. How about Mandeville? Mandeville in Manchester. Let's pull that area up right over here. Mandeville is expected to see, let me just double check. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts as well there, with 20 to 30 inches of rain of additional rainfall expected for your area. Tomorrow will be the worst day of impacts, with Wednesday morning being much calmer. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Stay hunkered down. News says it's defying odds and drifting more west. Yes, fortunately it's moving more west. Let's see if the next National Hurricane Center update is out yet. Okay, Melissa expected to bring catastrophic and life-threatening winds, flooding, and storm surge to Jamaica later tonight and on Tuesday. And okay, so winds of 175 miles an hour, 909 millibars is the pressure. Let's see if there's anything new with the public advisory here. No new watches and warnings are in effect just yet. Alright. Here's a look at the watches and warnings in effect right now. Again, hurricane warning for the entirety of Jamaica there. Alright, what else here? Alright, let's answer some more questions here. I still have power in Spalding, Manchester. Good. Now let's see how long that lasts for, unfortunately. It may go out. Where will landfall be exactly? In terms of which parish? Which landfall? 2% chance it makes landfall in, this would be Clarendon. Around a 4% chance it makes landfall in Manchester. Around a 78% chance it makes landfall in St. Elizabeth. And a 16% chance it makes landfall in Westmoreland. We will have a new update soon discussing more of the probabilities of landfall. This will be over the next, I think an hour or two is when the newest ensembles will be coming out, and we will be able to discuss those probabilities. They may start shifting more to the west, which will be interesting to see. Is there a possibility of it endlessly drifting to the west? Unfortunately, no, because it is going to be picked up by a trough. And is Tropical Tidbits completely down? Okay, no, it's not completely down. It's, well, okay. There we go, okay. So let's discuss okay, man, Tropical Tidbits. Okay, yeah, just so many people are paying attention to this storm right now. I get why it's going down. But there is expected to be a trough that's going to be tugging it. Here, it's basically going to be moving through the southeastern United States. I'll draw it here pretty much. I'll draw it, do a little bit of a depiction myself here, kind of showing what's happening. So over the past day or so, there's basically been a ridge here of high pressure that's been north of north of Jamaica, around the Bahamas, those areas. There's been a trough here of low pressure that's been moving across the southeastern United States, and what that's been doing is that's been weakening the ridge, and pretty much allowing for a little bit of an escape opportunity to be then over here. And what that's going to be doing right now is it's basically going to be dragging it along the eastern side of that trough, and that trough's going to be continuing to move across the southeastern United States. And basically, it's just going to be tugging it towards the northeast. It's going to be moving out to sea with it. So the ridge has been weakened around Cuba and the Bahamas, and pretty much that was your safeguard, and now it's basically going away. It's weakening, and that trough is doing the weakening there, and it's going to be tugging it out to sea, tugging it towards you, and then out to sea. Let's see, what about Old Harbor in St. Catherine? Let's discuss those impacts. Right, Old Harbor is expected to see, let's see here, I would be expecting moderate to major additional impacts with 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall totals expected for you there. Impacts are going to be the worst tomorrow with them finally calming down on Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out of your safe or your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. How strong is the storm right now? Likely with winds of 180 miles an hour. I'd say 175 to 180 miles an hour winds right now. It was what my estimate would be on the system. And it's just so fast. I haven't really seen something like this in just so long. It looks so unstable right now with all these vertical heat towers just continuously firing. But the pressure is incredibly low right now. Very solid hurricane. So Westmoreland won't get hit as bad as other places. I would not say that, okay? If this continues shifting to the west, you could be getting hit directly with a Category 5. Westmoreland seems to be getting some of the worst impacts from the system, with the system expected to cause catastrophic impacts across Westmoreland. What about Christiana and Mandeville? Oh, Mandeville, those impacts, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts in Mandeville. With the storm dumping an additional 20 to 30 inches of rain for you there. Looks like it's going to be calming down on Wednesday morning, so I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Again, catastrophic impacts are forecasted for you in Mandeville. You're the best forecaster in the world. Thank you so much. I don't think I am, but I do my best. I do my best to convey the message to the public internationally. Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth, oh boy, you could be seeing or you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system, both in the rain and potentially the wind. I would be expecting catastrophic impacts from the wind as well. You could be getting directly hit by a Category 5 strength system. Not just 20 to 30 inches of additional rainfall, but also the winds are going to be catastrophic as well if it does directly move over you. Impacts are going to be worse tomorrow and then finally calming down by Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. What about Spanish Town? Spanish Town, you've already seen a decent amount of impacts from this system. Let's see, let's go over there. Spanish Town is expected to see an additional 12 to 16 inches of rain, so major impacts, major additional impacts are expected for you there. With rainfall totals of, again, up to 8 or 12 to 16 inches of rain there. Impacts are going to be continuing to get worse overnight and peaking on Tuesday or tomorrow, with impacts finally calming down overnight on tomorrow night and into Wednesday morning. I will not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Out of your shelter there. RIP Montego Bay. Montego Bay could get hit pretty badly with this system. I am expecting major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts in both rain and wind. I'm in Central Village, St. Catherine. Let's see. St. Catherine is not expected to see, okay, well, let's see. Let's discuss where you are. You are there, Central Village. You are expected to see major impacts from the system, additional impacts. No longer seeing an additional catastrophic impacts, but you are expected to see additional major impacts with 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall being forecasted for you there. Impacts will finally calm down on Wednesday morning, so I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. So I'm so glad you help us with the updates on any hurricane. Thank you so much for your help. Of course, guys, if you're liking this kind of content, be sure to subscribe as it really helps out a lot and it helps you guys stay up to date as well on tropical cyclones across the globe. I also do animations as well if you'd ever like to check those out. I will be doing an animation on this storm, both a single storm animation and during the Atlantic hurricane season animation. So if you'd like to see cool animations, you can also subscribe for that. But I do updates and live streams like this, so if there's a storm in Jamaica, you'll see a thumbnail showing the storm, and be sure to watch if you're highlighted there. If you aren't, no need to watch, okay? You're not an ND threat. But if you are highlighted in this red color like these latest streams have been, I try to make it very clear if you need to be watching this system. Oh, and guys, be sure to like this stream as well. Sorry, I have not mentioned that as well. I know probably like none of you have. If you can, please give it a like. I forgot to mention that. That was my bad. It really helps get it out to more people. Let's see, an earthquake also occurred. Where? Let's see, St. Mary's impacts. Let's see, St. Mary is expected. Let me zoom out a bit to show you the impacts in St. Mary. Let's see, so let's narrow this down here. In terms of major impacts are expected for the entirety of St. Mary, additional major impacts with the western portions of St. Mary, roughly right in here, expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. The eastern portions here are expected to see 12 to 16 inches of rain in this region, with this colored region here seeing potentially 16 to 20 inches of rainfall. That's why you do have the possibility of seeing catastrophic impacts in terms of the flooding. See, we have a question for Westmoreland. Let's discuss Westmoreland. In terms of Westmoreland, the entirety of Westmoreland is really expected to see catastrophic impacts from this system because it could be making landfall potentially as a Category 5 strength system. Gotta just really hope it doesn't. But be prepared for catastrophic impacts. Will St. Anne be badly hit? Yes, St. Anne is expected to see major impacts throughout the entire parish, and the entire parish could see catastrophic impacts. Anywhere around, let's see, let me draw the border here. Looks to be around, no, that's too small. Let me do it like this. All right, there we go. So anywhere in this western portion is expected to see additional catastrophic impacts with 20 to 30 inches of additional rainfall totals expected for you there, whereas the eastern portions are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts with 16 to 20 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. Let's see, what about Ocho Rios in St. Anne? Let's look at where that is located. That's over here on the eastern portions, so you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. So around 16 to 20 inches of additional rainfall totals are expected for you there. Looks like conditions really don't start to improve until Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday afternoon in Ocho Rios. Chase, you have better animations than Force 13? Oh, thank you so much, okay. Yes, I'm eventually going to be coming for them for the #1 spot, maybe in decades, but we'll see. See. Alright, sorry guys, I'm getting to all your questions. How is it in Spanish Town? Got another question for Spanish Town. Let's discuss Spanish Town's impacts. So in terms of impacts in Spanish Town, you are getting some of those outer rain bands right now, most likely on and off. Looks like some gale force gusts are also being accompanied with those outer rain bands. Now, in terms of impact timing, it's going to be getting worse tomorrow. It will be peaking out tomorrow, with it finally calming down on Wednesday morning. I would not be getting out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. In terms of additional impacts, the total impacts in Spanish Town, you are expected to see an additional 12 to 16 inches of rain, so major impacts are expected for you, mainly in terms of the rainfall. You could be seeing major flash flooding from this system. You are already getting through some of it, okay? You've knocked it down now from catastrophic to major, so you've already gone through some of those impacts. You still got major impacts left from this system. Let's see, let's see, what about St. Mary? In terms of St. Mary's impacts, you are expected to see major impacts throughout the entirety of St. Mary, with 12 to 20 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. Let me zoom out a bit and now discuss more about the parishes there for St. Mary in terms of its impacts. Anywhere east of this line here in St. Mary is expected to see major impacts of around 12 to 16 inches of rain. The western portions are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts of 16 to 20 inches of additional rainfall totals. What about Kingston? Heavy rainfall has stopped. Kingston is expected to see major impacts from the system. It's been knocked down now from catastrophic to additional major impacts. Again, you've already gone through some of it. You still got major impacts to go. 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall being forecasted for you there. Will Alligator Pond get hit by the eye wall? In terms of Alligator Pond, they are located right over there in the eastern portions of, let me see which parish that is, roughly around the border there. Let's see, yeah, well, mainly around western Manchester, looks like. Let's discuss that. The probabilities it makes a direct hit on you there looks to be around I'd say around a 10% chance that it makes landfall on your area. Looking at all the ensemble members. What about Black River and Clarendon? Well, Clarendon, Black River. Oh, Black River goes through Clarendon? I'm not quite sure about that. I don't know how it works or whatever. Let's see, wait, is that the same person? Oh, sorry, wait, no, those are two different people, my bad. Okay, Black River, you are the forecasted landfall location from the system. You are being forecasted to get directly hit by a Category 5, but the system has been wobbling to the west here. As you can see, it has made a southwestern jog, which means it could be starting to push the forecast a little bit more to the west here. I would be expecting this forecast to be shifting more to the west, so hopefully away from you. Hoping that this just shifts all the way away from Jamaica, but that's unlikely to happen. In terms of, let me see, Black River, though, in terms of additional impacts, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system because you could get slammed with a Category 5. Impacts are going to be worse on Tuesday. I will be walking with you guys through this each step of the way on Tuesday. In terms of the impacts, you are forecast to get the eye, it looks like, from the European run. Pretty interesting to see that depicted here. You see this little gap there? That's the eye. It does calm down on Wednesday morning, though, so I would not be venturing out of your safe or your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Around 20 inches of additional rainfall are being forecasted for you there. So we have a question about Enfield and St. Mary. Well, we discussed St. Mary there. Oh, sorry, yeah, I did discuss St. Mary. Let's see, Clarendon. In terms of impacts in Clarendon, probabilities of a landfall looks to be around a 4% chance that Clarendon gets a landfall from the system. Now, this is going to be interesting because it really depends on where in Clarendon you are. You know what, let's pull up this instead to show what I mean. In terms of additional... okay, let's discuss the impacts here. So if you're on this portion of Clarendon, so it looks to be around, let's say, let me just double check, looks to be around... Whoops. Okay, sorry, wait, that's not Clarendon. This is Clarendon. Okay, Clarendon, never mind. Clarendon has a 2% chance of a landfall, not a 4%. Clarendon, in terms of major or moderate impacts, you are expected to see additional moderate impacts if you're south of this line. You are expected to see 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall there, so moderate impacts there, moderate to major impacts. In terms of the section that's expected to see major impacts, that is going to be including, let me just draw it right over here. Looks to be around right over here. Anywhere in this shading is expected to see major impacts from the system in terms of additional rainfall totals. 12 to 20 inches of rain. Possibly catastrophic in this area right here. And in this shading right in here. In terms of catastrophic impacts, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts, additional rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches of rain in portions of northwestern Clarendon. So be prepared for catastrophic flash flooding if you're in the northwestern portions. See, what about Linstead? Let's discuss Linstead. Guys, I am getting to all your questions. So please don't type the questions twice. Right, Linstead, whoops, okay, I thought I copied and pasted that. Anyways, Linstead is located right over here. You are expected to see, let me zoom in because it's a little bit hard to tell, or let me zoom out a little bit, seeing which, okay, you are expected to see additional major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. Looks like around 16 inches of rain. I'd be prepared for major flash flooding from this system. Flooding is going to be your worst concern. Impacts finally start calming down on Wednesday, so I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. What is the impacts for Discovery Bay? Let's discuss those impacts here. Discovery Bay is expected to see catastrophic impacts in terms of the rainfall, with 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. I'd be expecting catastrophic impacts. Looks like the peak is going to be Tuesday night with this when the system rolls through you, and it finally calms down on Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Again, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts in Discovery Bay. What about Wharton in St. Catherine? Wharton is going to be located at right around, let me find out where again. It's in St. Catherine's over here, looks like. I know it's in here, there it is. Come on, please let me select it. Nope, okay, it's not going to let me. Let me just search it up. You are expected to see, I believe, major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts there. Same for Linstead. Oh, yeah, it's not going to let me select it there. Impacts will begin to calm down though on let's see, on Wednesday morning. So I would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Kingston, in terms of additional impacts in Kingston, you are expected to see an additional major impacts, mainly for flash flooding with 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall. It would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. That looks like when it will be a lot more calmer. Do you think it's going to be turned wobble to the northwest at the last minute? Let's hope it continues to do these wobbles. It is turning to the north now, but it is going to be making more wobbles, potentially to the west. Let's hope this happens. Let's hope it just keeps, let's hope for a miracle here that it keeps going to the west and misses Jamaica. Unfortunately, though, Cuba could be getting hit by a Category 4 strong Cat 4 if it misses you all in Jamaica. You all are the buffer for Cuba with this system. This is the reason why it's expected to weaken before slamming into Cuba. See, what about St. Catherine? St. Catherine is expected to see major impacts. Yep, let me discuss St. Catherine's impacts here. St. Catherine is expected to see moderate to major impacts for this zone of St. Catherine, with rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. I'd be forecasting moderate to major impacts in this region. In terms of major impacts, the entirety of St. Catherine is expected to see northern portion, major impacts from the system. And right over here is the area that's expected to see around 12 to 16 inches of rainfall. And over here in northwestern portions, you are expected to see 16 to 20 inches of rain. So you could be seeing catastrophic impacts from the system in northwestern portions of St. Catherine. These are the amounts of additional rainfall totals you all are going to be having to deal with. So you've already gone through some, now you have to go through that amount of additional rainfall totals. St. Mary. In terms of impacts in St. Mary, let's discuss that. In terms of the entirety of St. Mary is expected to see major impacts from the system, with this portion of St. Mary expected to see the potential of catastrophic impacts. So this region right here is expected to see 12 to 16 inches of rain, with the western portions expected to see 8 to 12 inches of rain for you there. Let's see. Okay, Clarendon. Let's discuss Clarendon's impacts from this system. Again, Clarendon is expected to see anywhere from moderate to catastrophic impacts. If you're on the southern portions of Clarendon, I'd be forecasting this would be moderate to major impacts right down here in this portion of Clarendon, which is expected to see around 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall totals right there. In terms of what areas are expected to see major impacts, let's discuss the 12 to 16 inches first. That is going to be this range right through around, let me just make sure I'm drawing this right, looks to be around right over here. So that does include areas like May Pen. They're getting 12 to 16 inches of rainfall. That is major impacts in terms of additional flash flooding. Now going more to the north here, and now including this region of, oops, sorry, that was the wrong line there, my bad. In terms of, make sure I do this right. Yeah, no, that was right. Okay, sorry. It goes like this. This region right here is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts with 16 to 20 inches of rainfall, with northwestern portions including Coffee, Peace, and James Hill there. Killets expected to see 20 to 30 inches of rainfall. This is the area expected to see catastrophic impacts right through here. Let's see. St. Mary, I think you asked. Yeah, please, guys, don't ask questions multiple times. I do get to all the questions. See, what about St. Anne? A good question. Let's look at St. Anne's impacts from the system. In terms of additional rainfall totals or additional impacts, the entirety of St. Anne is expected to see major impacts from the system with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. The entirety of St. Anne does have the possibility of seeing catastrophic impacts, additional impacts. And now in terms of what areas are expected to see catastrophic impacts, it is this highlight area right down here. This area of St. Anne is expected to see catastrophic impacts with 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. In this portion, the eastern portions there are around, this would be around 16 to 20 inches of rain over here. Let's see, what else? Let's see, I discussed Clarendon, St. Mary, Jamaica, Montego Bay. Let's discuss Montego Bay. Montego Bay, in terms of your impacts that you could be seeing, you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, with 16 to 20 inches of additional rainfall forecasted for you there. Conditions look to be the worst on a tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, with conditions finally calming down on Wednesday morning. I would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Again, you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. What are the possible impacts for Black River? Black River is forecasted to see catastrophic impacts from the system, as you could be getting hit with a Category 5. And if not that, you are expected to see 20 inches of additional rainfall totals. Catastrophic flash flooding and catastrophic winds are being forecasted for you in Black River. The more it shifts to the west, the less of a threat those impacts are. Those impacts will begin to calm down on Wednesday, so I would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. So what about Santiago de Cuba? Let's discuss those impacts. Finally, a question for Cuba. Let's discuss impacts in Santiago de Cuba. Okay, this is going to be an interesting forecast to discuss here. Let me just check on here. In terms of rainfall totals, I would be forecasting, I believe, let me just see what I did here. Just checking what I did. Okay, so I forecasted really the entirety of that portion, okay. So the entirety of Santiago de Cuba is expected to see major impacts from the system, as it could be rolling through as a major hurricane. This whole entire area of Santiago de Cuba is expected to see, let me actually use this map instead. Here, there we go. The entirety of Santiago de Cuba is expected to see major impacts, with rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches across Santiago de Cuba. In terms of major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, that does include a corridor that includes roughly right around here. Let me just make sure I'm drawing this correctly. Whoops, I did not mean to do that there. Sorry, guys. Let me just draw that again. Looks to be right around here in portions of Santiago de Cuba. Looks to be right around here. This area right here is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. This area here is expected to see 16 to 20 inches of rain in Santiago de Cuba, with rainfall totals along portions of northwestern or western Santiago de Cuba right in here, forecasted to see catastrophic impacts with rainfall totals right there, expected to be 20 to 30 inches of rain. And let me say millimeters. This 16 to 20 inches of rain is going to be 400 to 500 millimeters of rain, and 20 to 30 inches of rain there, 500 to 750 millimeters of rain being forecasted for you there. Those are the impacts in Santiago de Cuba. What about the winds in St. Anne? In terms of wind impacts, I would be expecting moderate to major impacts with the system, as it could be rolling through as a major hurricane. Or it could be just a hurricane there as it rolls through, in terms of hurricane force winds. So be prepared for moderate to major impacts in the form of winds. Now, catastrophic impacts are expected for you with the storm in western portions of St. Anne, as the storm is going to be rolling through and dumping 20 to 30 inches of rain for you. The rain's your worst problem there. Portland and Port Antonio. Let's discuss those impacts. Let's see here. Portland in terms of, let me just pull it up. Okay, Portland and Port Antonio, my bad. Okay, there we go. Impacts in Port Antonio. They are expected to see major impacts of major additional rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches of rain. Impacts are going to continue to be a little bit gusty and rainy throughout overnights into Tuesday morning, with it really picking up on Tuesday nights. Seems like it's not going to be too much of a concern for you, but the rainfall is additional major impacts in terms of rainfall for you there. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least overnight on Tuesday. What about St. Anne? Okay, I discussed that. What about if your home is full of trees? Would it be safe? Now, it all depends what you mean by that. It depends on where you are as well in terms of the wind impacts. Trees could fall on your home, so be prepared for that in case that happens. What if it turns to the northeast at the last minute while approaching? Do you think that will happen? It is expected to turn to the northeast, okay? It is expected to be moving north-northeast by the time it makes landfall in Jamaica. So I do expect a northeastern turn. What about Falmouth in Trelawney? Let's see here. Falmouth in Trelawney is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. You are expected to see 16 to 20 inches of rain there. Impacts will be getting really bad on tomorrow night, looks like, is when your peak of impacts is expected to be. It could be rolling through your area as a category 4 or 5. I'd be again expecting major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts there. Conditions don't finally calm down until Wednesday morning, so I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Stay hunkered down. See here. What about Bog Walk in Riverdale? Let's discuss those impacts there. Bog Walk. Bog Walk, in terms of your impacts there, you are expected to see, let me just double check, you are expected to see major impacts. You are not highlighted for the possibility of catastrophic impacts. You are going to be getting additional major impacts, though, 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall on top of what you've already gotten. The grounds are likely already saturated where you are. Conditions will be peaking out on Tuesday afternoonish, Tuesday eveningish, with Wednesday morning Wednesday morning finally calming down. So again, I would be staying sheltered until at least Wednesday morning. Let's see here. What about Montego Bay? Montego Bay is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts from the system. Conditions are going to be at their worst tomorrow evening. With it finally calming down on Wednesday morning, I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. It still is expected to be a little bit gusty throughout the day on Wednesday before finally being mostly calm on Thursday. Let's see, what about here? Thanks for your updates, of course. Let's see, Clarendon. Clarendon's impacts. Let's discuss those impacts on here. Clarendon has a 2% chance of a direct landfall from the system. And in terms of impacts, Clarendon, let me just zoom in on here. Clarendon. All right, so portions of the southern portions of Clarendon here are expected to see moderate to major impacts with rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall accumulations. Accumulations just north of there, including May Pen. This is the area that is expected to see at least major impacts with 12 to 18 inches of rain. North of there, including portions of let's see, Chapelton there is expected to see 16 to 20 inches of rain. This is major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. In areas north of here, including Kellites, is expected to see catastrophic impacts of 20 to 30 inches of rain. That's the impacts in Clarendon. Let's see, I discussed Falmouth Trelawney. Guys, please don't ask the questions again and again. I will get to your questions. I do get to all of them. Let's see, what about Maypen? Again, Maypen here in Clarendon is expected to see major impacts from the system with, looks to be around 12 to 16 inches of rain there. In terms of timing for Maypen, looks to be peaking out tomorrow afternoon before finally calming down overnight on Tuesday. I will not be venturing out of your shelter until at least overnight on Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Falmouth and Mobay. Let's discuss Falmouth's impacts. Falmouth and Montego Bay, let's group them together. Both of those areas are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches for both of you there. In terms of the impacts timing for both of those areas, it will be peaking out on Tuesday evening, it looks like. Tuesday afternoon into the evening before finally calming down on Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. It looks to be finally calming down completely on Wednesday night. Let's see, will the storm surge affect the entire southern coast parishes? Please explain. Alright, now let's discuss some of the storm surge threat from the system. So, in terms of storm surge with these tropical cyclones, where it's making landfall right now matters a lot. The eastern portions, the southeastern portions, are going to be getting onshore flow with those winds pushing into the overland, whereas the portions to the west are going out to sea, not as bad. So areas to the east of where it makes landfall, bad surge over here. Bad surge in these areas. So now moving it around, depending on where it makes landfall, areas to the east of that landfall are going to be seeing the worst amounts of storm surge. So if the westernmost ensemble verifies, the worst storm surge will be happening in Westmoreland, with some lower surges happening in the Kingston areas and those areas off to the central southern province or parishes in Jamaica. If it verifies on the central run here, it does bring those catastrophic storm surges towards Treasure Beach and Alligator Pond. And with none of those storm surges really happening in portions of Westmoreland, no real rise in sea level on here. Now, if it goes on those eastern end right here, this would be bringing the worst storm surge into parts of Kingston here if it makes landfall right there in the border between, this is Clarendon and St. Catherine. That would be bringing the worst storm surge to Kingston area, with a lesser surge happening to the west there. Alligator Pond, Treasure Beach wouldn't really be getting any impacts. Where it makes that landfall matters a lot, alright? Because any shift here, like in Treasure Beach, if it makes landfall here, catastrophic storm surge. If it makes landfall 10 miles to the east, really nothing at all for you there in terms of surge. Wind is going to be bad regardless, though, regardless of where it makes landfall. But that's a little bit of a breakdown of storm surge from this. See, we got a question for St. Anne. Let's discuss those impacts there for St. Anne. Let's see. St. Anne's impacts are expected to be, let me just double check here. Yes. Okay. St. Anne, regardless of where you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. Okay. Let's see. So in this area, let me just make sure I'm highlighting it properly. Looks to be right around here. Anywhere in here is expected to see 16 to 20 inches of rain right in here on the eastern portion. So this is the major with the possibility of catastrophic. The western portions are expected to see catastrophic impacts in terms of rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches of rain in here. And that does include a runaway bay. That's the look for St. Anne. Let's discuss Portland. Portland, you've already gotten some of the impacts. Now, these are the additional impacts that you're going to be getting. Portions of eastern Portland here are expected to see moderate to major impacts with rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches of rain. And portions of western Portland are expected to see major impacts with 12 to 16 inches of rain. And that does include Port Antonio there in that major impact range. See, Trelawney. Oh boy, Trelawney. You are expected to see major impacts regardless of where you are in Trelawney. But let's discuss if you're going to be seeing catastrophic impacts. The entirety of Trelawney could see catastrophic impacts, but the southern portions here, southeastern portions of Trelawney, no, that's not drawn correctly. Sorry about that. Let me draw that more accurately. Looks to be like right around here. Okay. So, if you're in the northwestern portions, you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, with 16 to 20 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. Catastrophic impacts are expected for you in portions of southeastern Trelawney, with 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted for you there, and that does include Alberttown. Let's see what else here. Is there a chance it will not make landfall in Jamaica? Now, looking at the parishes here, or in terms of the probability of landfall, 2% chance it makes landfall in, this would be Clarendon, 4% chance it makes landfall in Manchester, a 78% chance it makes landfall in St. Elizabeth, and a 16% chance that it makes landfall in Westmoreland. These ensembles have shifted a little bit more to the west, I'd say, but stayed relatively consistent. So it does look like it will be making landfall over Jamaica. I'd say there's around a 5% chance that it actually doesn't make landfall in Jamaica. It is going to be moving to the northeast, though, and regardless of where it goes, parts of Jamaica will be seeing major to catastrophic impacts. Now, can someone in the chat please type 8:37 in the chat, just so I know what time, let's see, just what time it is, and just seeing how far back I am. Thank you guys so much. Okay, in terms of impacts, I do want to discuss this again, as there's a lot of new people tuning in. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Oh wow, we just hit 4.5 thousand subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. I did not see that. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see if we can hit 4.55 thousand by the end of this stream. We are 50 away from that. Let's see if we can reach it. But man, 500 away from 5,000. Thank you guys so much. So in terms of the forecast cone, it is a Category 5 right now. It is going to be moving towards the north-northeast over the next 12 hours. This would be by tomorrow morning as a Category 5 nearing the coast of Jamaica. Looks like it makes landfall later in the day, around the afternoon hours in southwestern Jamaica. As a Category 4 or 5 strength system, I'd be forecasting a Category 5 on this. It exits Jamaica as a low-end Category 4, looks like. This would be on tomorrow night. Now, on Wednesday morning, it is going to be rolling through Cuba there as a Category, really 2 to 4 strength system. Major impacts are expected. Category 3 to 4 landfall will still be a Category 2 or 3 by the time it's leaving Cuba there. By Wednesday night, it will be rolling through the Bahamas there, mainly the southeastern Bahamas there, or central Bahamas, as a Category 2 or 3 strength system. I am forecasting it to re-intensify to a major hurricane on Thursday morning here. Before then, it weakens on Thursday night back down to a Category 2, back to a Category 1 on Friday nights, and then a non-tropical storm by Saturday nights by Newfoundland. It will be nearing Bermuda, though, as a Category 1 or 2 strength system. Now, in terms of impacts, let's discuss impacts here. Marginal impacts are expected for majority of Hispaniola there, excluding the northeastern portions of the Dominican Republic, the entirety of the Turks and Caicos Islands and southeastern and central Bahamas, as well as Bermuda there, and with this we're discussing this area right here, as well as southeastern Cuba there and Jamaica, all expected to see at least marginal impacts from the system. Now moving up a category now to slight impacts and what you could be seeing with this system. Portions of southwestern Dominican Republic and southern Haiti are expected to see slight impacts from the system, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands, parts of them, and the southern Bahamas there, and Bermuda as well in that slight category, and central and southeastern Bahamas there, southeastern Cuba as well as highlighted in that slight category, as well as entirety of Jamaica at least seeing slight impacts. Now let's move up another category to moderate impacts. That does include a little bit of a corridor for the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, as well as some of the Bahamian Islands where it could be making landfall as a hurricane, and as well as portions of Cuba as it could be rolling through as a hurricane dumping large amounts of rain, as well as the entirety of Jamaica. Moving up to the possibility of major impacts, that does include portions of northern Cuba on this graphic here, which could be seeing major impacts from the system as it could be rolling through as a major hurricane. That is also going to be including portions of eastern Portland, southeastern St. Thomas, southern St. Catherine, and southern Clarendon, with the possibility of major impacts. Now, the areas that are expected to see major impacts, let's discuss this. Oh, and also some of the Bahamian Islands, possibility of major impacts there as well. Mainly Long Island looks to be Long Island and potentially Acklands and Crooked Island there, and that possibility of major impacts. Now, going up to major impacts being expected for your area, let's discuss that. Now, for parts of Cuba, it does include this would be northwestern Guantanamo province in southeastern Cuba, Holguin province, mainly the southern portions there, as well as portions of southeastern Granma province in Cuba there, with the entirety of Santiago de Cuba also highlighted in that major category, and as well as parts, or really the rest of Jamaica there, including this would be, Let's see. Let's see where. This would include majority of St. Mary as well as majority of Portland, majority of St. Thomas, the entirety of Kingston, the entirety of St. Andrew, the northern portions of St. Catherine, northern portions of Clarendon, and really the entirety of Manchester there in at least that major category. Now let's discuss the possibility of catastrophic impacts. That is going to include a corridor here in Santiago de Cuba border around Guantanamo, that border there, towards west, towards Granma, and northwestern Jamaica as well, highlighted in that possibility of catastrophic impacts, as well as portions of St. Anne, St. Catherine, Clarendon, and Manchester. Now let's discuss the areas forecasted to see catastrophic impacts from the system. It is a corridor here along the border between Granma and Santiago de Cuba, which could be seeing, or is expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system, as well as portions of Jamaica there, including western St. Anne, southeastern Trelawney, northwestern Clarendon, northwestern Manchester, the entirety of St. Elizabeth, and nearly the entirety of Westmoreland, all expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. Let's go down to the next thing here, next questions. Let's see here, we got a question about St. Thomas. Got multiple questions. Let's discuss St. Thomas's impacts. Let's zoom in on here. St. Thomas, you're not expected to get a landfall, but you are expected to see moderate to a major additional impacts from the system. Let's discuss them here. So, highlighting the area right around here, if you're in this southeastern portion, you're expected to get an additional 8 to 12 inches of rain. That's moderate to major impacts. Now, in this portion on the northwestern side, you are expected to see around 12 to 16 inches of rain right in here. That is major impacts you are expected to get if you live in northwestern St. Thomas. Those are the impacts you'd be getting in St. Thomas. So we got a question about Kingston. Let's discuss Kingston's impacts from the system. You are expected to see major impacts with 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall there. Impacts are going to be continuing to deteriorate throughout overnight, with it really kind of peaking on Tuesday night. The winds aren't going to be too bad. It's just mainly a prolonged rainfall event for you there. Major impacts in the form of rain. I would not be venturing out until at least Wednesday morning. Yes, guys, be sure to like the stream if you haven't already. It really helps get it out to more people. And subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see here, what else? Montego Bay, I discussed your question. Let's see, how about Portland and Port Antonio? Let's discuss Port Antonio's impacts. Port Antonio is expected to see major impacts from this storm with rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches of rain, additional rainfall totals, with looks like tomorrow night is going to be the worst day of impacts for you. It finally calms down on Wednesday, though. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Old Harbor. Let's see. Old Harbor, let's discuss those impacts. You are expected to see moderate to major impacts in Old Harbor there. The worst day of impacts will, of course, be tomorrow, with them peaking at around tomorrow evening. It will finally calm down on Wednesday morning, so I will not be venturing out until you're out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Rainfall totals of, let me check, around 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall totals are forecasted for you there. So we got a question about Portmore. Let's discuss Portmore's impacts. Again, for you in Portmore, you are expected, in this one you are expected to see major impacts, 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall totals on top of what's already fallen. Impacts will be worst on Tuesday evening into the night hours, or tomorrow, with Wednesday morning finally calming down. So I would not be venturing out of your shelter again, as well as until at least Wednesday morning. See, what about St. Thomas? When landfall? St. Thomas is not expected to get a landfall from the system. You are still expected to see moderate to major impacts in terms of additional rainfall totals. See, Christiana, Manchester. Let's discuss that area. Believe it's right there? Yes, it is. Okay, north of Mandeville. In Christiana, you are expected to see, let me just double check. Okay, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system with rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted for you. Wind is going to be the worst tomorrow evening. And then it finally calms down on Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Conditions finally start getting much calmer, though, on Wednesday evening. Really Wednesday night after the sun sets. Let's see. Zenith asks, "Hi HEC, can I send you messages? I want to join your Discord." Thanks. Yeah, you can join my Discord here, guys. I will show the other social media platforms. Consider following me on another one besides just YouTube. I post a lot more frequent updates on these other social media platforms, so be sure to follow me on those. Follow me on @hurricane_chase if you use X/Twitter here, as I post updates most frequently there. If you have Instagram, please follow me on @hurricanechaserchase. I post my forecast cones, the most severe ones, there, and post some more chase content there. On Facebook and Blue Sky, I mostly post the things I post on X there. Search me up on cyclone tracking on Facebook there. In terms of Discord, join the Discord server, discord.gg/chasestorm, to discuss this system and other tropical cyclones across the globe. That's really more so if you're interested in getting into contact with me or just tracking tropical cyclones across the globe. Yes, guys, thank you so much for all the support recently. I want to say that we are now, 41 subscribers away from 4.55K. Let's see if we can reach that by the end of the live stream. See, what about Bog Walk, George, Flatbridge areas of impacts? Let's discuss that region. Okay, radar imagery, is it still working? Yes, it is. Okay. Bog Walk, I know where that is. I've seen it before, so we'll find it here. I think it's Bog Space Walk. Yes, okay. Apologies for that, I gotta stay hydrated. That's southeast of Linstead. Let me just double check that is going to be in Clarendon, no, St. Catherine. So in St. Catherine, you are expected to see major impacts from the storm. So in there, you are expected to see major impacts in Bog Walk there, with rainfall totals looking to be around 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall totals there. The impacts will be worst tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, with them finally calming down overnight tomorrow into Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out until at least Wednesday morning. And Manchester, let's discuss the impacts in Manchester. In terms of a probability that it makes landfall in Manchester, there's around a 4% chance that it makes landfall there. In terms of impacts, let's discuss those impacts. So if you're in the far southeastern portions, then this does include Alligator Pond, you are only expected to see moderate to I'd be saying major impacts regardless in terms of the wind as well. Let me just retract that statement there. You are only expected to see 8 to 12 inches of rain there, though. In terms of major impacts, I would include right down here. So that does include Junction and Alligator Pond seeing major impacts with rainfall totals of around... really this whole area is expected to see catastrophic impacts, I believe. Yes, this whole area is expected to see catastrophic impacts. My apologies there. This whole area right in here is expected to see catastrophic impacts. The entirety of Manchester is expected to see catastrophic impacts. The southern portions are expected to see catastrophic impacts in the form of wind, with the northern portions are expected to see it in the form of... Oh, wait, sorry, hold on. Let me just... Hold on. Trying to figure this out. Okay. Yes, so if you are in Manchester, the entirety of Manchester is expected to see catastrophic impacts in the form of either rain or wind. The southern portions are forecast to see it in the form of wind potentially, with the northern portions expect to see it in the form of rain. Let's see, Lawrence Town in St. Andrew. Let's discuss that area. Alright, you are expected to see major impacts from the system, 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall. So rain is going to be the worst impact from the system. You could still get hurricane force gust, though. It looks like the worst day of impacts, or worst timing, is going to be tomorrow afternoon into the tomorrow evening hours and night hours, with it finally calming down on Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. It finally calms down significantly by Thursday. See, Mandeville and Manchester, let's discuss those impacts. Mandeville is expected to see, let me just double check, catastrophic impacts in both the form of rain and wind, potentially. Up to around 20 to 30 inches of rain are being forecasted for your location there. with impacts likely peaking on tomorrow, or sorry, this evening, or sorry, tomorrow evening, my bad, tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, with it finally calming down by Wednesday. So it would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning, finally calms down again significantly by Wednesday night. What category winds could Kingston get? Kingston looks like they're going to be getting tropical storm force winds, potentially damaging winds. Winds are not going to be your biggest threats there. Looks like you could get at least or potentially storm force gust with the system. So that's around slight to moderate impacts in form of wind, but you are forecasted to see major impacts in the form of rain. Let's see, what time is the real tropical storm force winds before the hurricane force winds occurred? Now that's good. That's hard to really pinpoint it. You'd have to talk about a specific area. What about Negril? Let's discuss that area because you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system, mainly from the wind, if this continues shifting more to the west. Rainfall totals are expected to be lower for you, fortunately, only around 6 to 8 inches, so that's not really too bad in terms of rainfall there being forecasted for you there from the system. You are already likely getting some rain, and that will continue to deteriorate throughout the night, and really peaking tomorrow at around the afternoon hours or early evening hours. It will then finally calm down by Wednesday morning. I would not venture out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. So what about Trelawney? Let's discuss Trelawney. Trelawney there is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts throughout the entire parish. Let's highlight those areas here. So in terms of the areas, that's mainly split into two areas, which I'd highlight likely right in here. Maybe that was a good way. No, I'm going to draw it a little bit differently. Kind of like this area right here. Let me actually zoom in even more just so that way you all can see more of those city names. So in terms of impacts, I would highlight this portion of Trelawney to be seeing catastrophic impacts with 20 to 30 inches of rain. That does include Albertstown and let's see. Where else? Okay, and then the western portions here are expected to see the possibility of catastrophic impacts, but at least major impacts, with 16 to 20 inches of rain being forecasted for you here. This does include Falmouth. All right, next question. What will happen in Hamilton? Let me find out where Hamilton is. I don't know which one you were talking about, sorry. You need to specify which area. Is the storm surge going to be serious on the central and eastern parishes in Jamaica? I would not say that. I don't think it's going to be as serious in those areas as it will be the central southern parishes there. The southern portions like Manchester, St. Elizabeth, those areas. Let's see what else on the south coast. I think we won't get a landfall. I do believe it is going to be making a landfall. That's the latest forecast there, and it's been stalling right now. It's probably going to start making a northward jog, and then start headed towards the north-northeast. Really, the cone of uncertainty here does include majority of land there. Even if it shifts to the west, it looks like it's still going to be making a landfall in Jamaica. Thank you so much. Of course, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are now at 4.51K. Thank you guys so much. We're now 38 away from 4.55 thousand. Let's see if we can reach it by the end of the live stream. I am expected to go on for probably, I don't know how long. I will discuss that a little bit later. Let's see here. Trying to get to all the questions. Port Salute in Haiti. I will discuss that area up. About those impacts that you could be seeing there. Okay, I cannot find it, unfortunately, on here. Kingston, Jamaica. Let's discuss Kingston's impacts. Kingston is expected to see major impacts, additional major impacts in the form of rain, additional amounts of 12 to 16 inches on top of what's already fallen for you there. It's expected to really get bad on tomorrow evening, tomorrow afternoonish, really, continuing throughout the evening hours and night hours before finally calming down by Wednesday morning. So I would not venture out of your shelter until at least Wednesday morning if you're in Kingston. Let's see here. Bog walk near the mountains. Landslides are possible. Yes. What about Hanover? Let's discuss the impacts in there. No one's asked about that yet. So in terms of impacts throughout Hanover here, let me zoom in even more since I can show this a lot better. In terms of rainfall totals, let's discuss that. Well, the entirety of Hanover is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, okay? Possibility of catastrophic impacts throughout the entirety of Hanover, because this could be rolling through as a Category 5. You see some of these ensemble members showing that. In terms of rainfall totals, though, the western portions, such as really just this area, is expected to see rainfall totals of 6 to 8 inches of rain there. In terms of this portion of Hanover, which does include, looks to be around, I'm just trying to draw it good nicely, looks to be around here. This area is expected to see rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches of rain. That is going to be moderate to major impacts in the form of rain. Again, winds is going to be your worst concern here, looks like. And then going even further to the east, this portion of Hanover is expected to see roughly 12 to 16 inches rain, so at least major impacts in the form of rain here. And then portions down to the southeastern Hanover, which does include Chester Castle, is expected to see 16 to 20 inches of rain over here. This would bring major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts in the form of rain. Now remember, the entire parish is expected to see a major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. All right, let's see what other questions here. Will the hurricane still be moving slow by the time it makes its landfall? Let's discuss that. The wind speed, or the speed in terms of forward motion, is expected to be 83 miles in 12 hours. Let me just do some quick math. That is expected to be moving at 7 miles an hour, so it is going to be speeding up by the time it makes landfall. And by the time it leaves Jamaica, that would be, let me check, that would be 136 miles in 12 hours. That is going to be even faster. That is going to be moving then from 7 miles an hour to up to 12 miles an hour in between those 2 points. So it is going to be speeding up by the time it hits Jamaica. So it's going to be really just a day of wind impacts before it finally calms down. Calabash Bay in Treasure Beach. Let's discuss Treasure Beach's impacts. Treasure Beach is expected to see catastrophic impacts from both the rain and the wind from the system, as they could be getting a direct hit from a Category 5. Impacts are going to be continuing to deteriorate overnight tonight. They are going to be seeing the worst impacts, looks like, on the latest forecast. With it really peaking out tomorrow morning and the tomorrow afternoon. I will be doing a live stream as it makes it that landfall. Historic landfall in Jamaica. It finally calms down more on Wednesday morning. I would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Rainfall totals of 20 inches are being forecasted for you there. What about Jones Avenue, Greendale, and Spanish Town? Spanish Town, I'm going to jumble those up together. Spanish Town is... let me see if there's any other questions here about any of these other areas. No, okay. Spanish Town, you are expected to see, major impacts from this system with rainfall totals of, 12 to 16 inches of rain being forecasted for you. Impacts will be the worst tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours there. Let's see. And then impacts finally calm down on Wednesday. Let's see here. Did you know about the Salt River and the storm surge threat? I did not know about that. So let me pull up the Salt River if I can find that area on here. Let's see. I don't know which one you're talking about there. Maybe you're talking about this one right here. If you're talking about this one, then yes, that does have a storm surge threat for areas of Salt River, with some of that onshore flow. Mandeville. Let's discuss Mandeville's impacts from this system. They are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this, mainly from the rain with wind as well being factored into that. 20 to 30 inches of rainfall are expected for you there. Looks like the worst day of impacts is going to be tomorrow afternoon, with it then finally calming down by Wednesday morning. Do not leave your shelter until at least Wednesday morning. Where is it going to be making landfall? Let's discuss that. In terms of landfall probabilities, 2% chance it makes landfall in, this would be Clarendon, 4% chance it makes landfall in Manchester, 78% chance it makes landfall in St. Elizabeth, and a 16% chance it makes landfall in Westmoreland. There's a chance it doesn't make landfall anywhere, but those chances may increase, and as of the latest Google AI Ensemble members. I will refresh it to see if we get an update. We do not have an update just yet. We will be getting an update within the hour in terms of probabilities of where it's going to be making landfall. Can someone in the chat please type 9 o'clock, like a 900? That'd really help out a lot to see how far behind I am. Let's see. What is the possibility of impacts for Savannah-Lamar? Let's discuss those impacts. Savannah-Lamar are expected to see major impacts, or no, catastrophic impacts from the system, excuse me. They are expected to see 12 to 16 inches of rain, so major impacts in the form of rain, but could be seeing a catastrophic blow from the system as it could be making landfall as a Category 5. It is moving more west than forecasted, so we could be seeing a more western jog, right? A more western shift of the forecast cone. So be prepared for the possibility of catastrophic impacts. Will the intensity of this hurricane feel greater than Beryl last year? It all depends on where you're located at. See, St. Thomas, in terms of impacts in St. Thomas, let's discuss that. Impacts in St. Thomas are going to be anywhere from moderate to major. It all depends on where you're located at in the parish. Let's highlight it on here. In terms of eastern St. Thomas, and let me just draw the border right here. It looks to be right around here. If you're in this portion of St. Thomas, you are expected to see moderate impacts with the possibility of major impacts. 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall is forecasted for you there, whereas the northwestern portions are expected to see around, around 12 to 16 inches of rain. Let's see. Now, I do want to actually add a poll real quick, and I do want to ask you guys a question. We do have Ocho Rios. Ocho Rios is expected to see major impacts from the system. No, they are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. 16 to 20 inches of rainfall is being forecasted for you there. Worst time of impacts is going to be tomorrow evening into the afternoon hours, with the... with it then continuing to be a little bit bad even by sunrise on Wednesday morning. I would not be venturing out until at least Wednesday morning, but it will be calming down by Wednesday night. Let's see, now I am I'm almost 30 minutes behind there in terms of questions. Let me just up this to now within 30 minutes there. I will be answering your question. I am going to be catching up though. Now I do want to add another poll. Let me just cancel this here. So you guys have power, that's good. And I do want to ask questions here. Real quick, a poll here. What forecast cone do you like more here? Whoops. Forecast cone. Mine. National Hurricane Center there. Let's see. So I want to ask you guys what your thoughts here. Whoops. Let me scroll up back to where I was. Okay, I was there. Okay, guys, so I'm going to show you the two forecast cones. There's this cone right here that highlights the impacts in things like that, highlights more in detail in terms of the kind of impacts you could get, the threat level. And then there's also this kind of cone right over here. Let me pull this up as well. There's also this forecast cone right here. So I want to kind of ask you guys, what kind of cone do you like more? I'm just kind of getting a gauge here in terms of what do you like more, what conveys the most impacts kind of things. Just trying to get an impact or a gauge from Jamaicans. Here, do you all prefer this kind of forecast cone? I have my kind of forecast cone, or do you prefer the National Hurricane Center forecast cone? I added a poll there so you all can vote on that. NHC is for this cone right here. It highlights the warning areas, hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings. In my opinion, though, it doesn't highlight the possibility of impacts. You know, hurricane warning can only mean so much. So my cone here kind of shows more detail in terms of the impacts there. In some areas, the governments may not do a great job in terms of highlighting warning areas, what are going to be seeing the worst impacts. Like Haiti, northeastern Haiti may only see marginal impacts. So this is mine, forecast cone, and this is the NHC's. So thank you for that. I just wanted to get a little bit of a gauge on that. All right, now I'm going to be catching up more here. Oh, in terms of timing there, this is Eastern Daylight Time. I'm currently using that because the Dominican Republic and Hispaniola are still getting impacts from this, and Cuba as well. Most of these areas are using Eastern Daylight Time. Tomorrow's live stream, I will be using Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, world media is focusing on Kingston, but they are not going to be seeing the worst impacts. Let's see. What about St. Anne's Bay? Let's discuss that area. Thank you guys so much for your feedback on the cone. I'll be getting to that in a bit. Let's see. In terms of St. Anne, St. Anne is expected to see. Let's see here. St. Anne's Bay is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, mainly for the rain. 16 to 20 inches of rainfall is being forecasted for you with this, with the peak of impacts being around tomorrow evening during those hours. It finally calms down by Wednesday, or calms down a bit by Wednesday morning. I would not leave your shelter until at least Wednesday morning, and it finally calms down a lot more by Wednesday evening into Wednesday at sunset. Just hide that briefly. Okay. Let's see what else here. What should St. Mary expect? St. Mary should be expecting major impacts if you're in anywhere throughout St. Mary, with the western portions expected to see the potential of catastrophic impacts from the system in the form of rain. Anywhere from 12 to 20 inches of additional rainfall is expected for you in St. Mary. Is this really going to make a turn over Jamaica? Because this looks like it's going to pass. It is going to be moving over Jamaica. Okay. I'm sorry that there's a lot of people saying that it's not going to hit. It is going to be moving north towards Jamaica. I really wish these websites would work, but here's a look at the latest ensemble clusters here. You can see how nearly every single one has it making landfall over Jamaica. All 50 of the Google AI Ensemble members show it making landfall over Jamaica. I'd say there's at least a 90% chance that it makes landfall in Jamaica. Let's see. I'm living in Westmoreland. Let's discuss those impacts. So 16% chance it makes a direct strike in your parish. Impacts, it all depends on where you're located at. But the entirety of them really expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. See, St. Elizabeth impact, the entire parish of St. Elizabeth is expected to see catastrophic impacts because it could be rolling through you as a Cat 5. 78% chance it makes a landfall in your parish. Has it turned north yet? It's weird, okay? It's been stalling right now over the same area, okay? Meaning it's probably going to be now starting to shift gears and start making a more northward turn. It's likely going to start out by going due north, and then it's going to start curving off towards the north and northeast. Let's see, what about Trelawney? Trelawney is expected to see, I'll highlight those two areas in Trelawney here. So in terms of Trelawney, if you're in the southeastern portions of Trelawney, mainly this portion right over here, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts right through here. Oops, sorry, right through here, my bad. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts with rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches of rain in this area. Now, in terms of this area right here, you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. Will Spanish Town St. Catherine get any hits? You will not be getting a direct hit, but you will be getting rainfall here. St. Catherine is expected to see, Spanish Town is expected to see major impacts from the system with rainfall totals of 12 to 16 additional rainfall accumulations. And impacts are going to be worse on Tuesday during the nights, or Tuesday evening, looks like, with it finally calming down by Wednesday morning. Will it miss Jamaica? I highly doubt it. Let's see. Hellshire, got a question for Hellshire. Let's discuss that. Let's see, I don't know which Hellshire you're talking about, but that area around here, okay, this Hellshire probably, you are expected to see, I would say, moderate to major impacts, 8 to 12 inches of rain there. Again, impacts will finally calm down by Wednesday morning. How much in Port Antonio, please? Let's discuss Port Antonio. Port Antonio is expected to see major impacts with 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall. The peak of impacts will be tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. What about Spanish Town? Spanish Town is expected to see major impacts with, again, 12 to 16 inches of rain for you there. Worst conditions will be happening tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, with it calming down by Wednesday. Will Melissa make landfall as a Category 5? It is looking more and more likely. I am forecasting a Category 5 landfall. It can only weaken so much before landfall. 180 miles an hour right now, and it doesn't look like it's weakening. What about Hanover? Hanover, let's discuss Hanover, because that's a wide range of possibilities there. In terms of Hanover, you could be seeing, let me discuss this. You know what, here, I'm going to be now discussing, if I mention a parish, since I'm now like 30 minutes behind, guys, or hold on, not yet. I'm not going to ask for anything just yet. Let's see here. So, in terms of, okay, Hanover, you could be seeing, let me zoom in here. The entirety of Hanover is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts really throughout here. Major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts throughout the entire parish of Hanover. Rainfall totals anywhere from, I'd say, 6 to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted for you across the parish. It really all depends on if you get a direct hit or not. Let's see. Yes, guys, if you're in Cuba, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Bahamas, you really need to be paying attention to the storm because it will also be delivering catastrophic impacts for parts of Cuba and potentially major impacts for parts of the Bahamas. Turks and Caicos Islands are expected to see slight impacts from this. Bermuda, slight impacts as well. Atlantic Canada, marginal impacts. What about Ferry Hill and Portland? Let's discuss Portland. Okay, you're on the better side right now. You're only expected to see additional moderate to major impacts. That's not really an only, that's still a lot of impacts. Rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall amounts are expected for you there. And it looks like, let me just check something real quick. Okay, and it looks like areas there up to around, the peak of impacts is going to be Tuesday evening. With it calming down on Wednesday. London, Keto, Garden Spring area. I don't know where that area is. Little London. Okay, Little London, I'm guessing you mean right around here near Negril. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system because it could be making a direct landfall as a Category 5 in your parish there, in your city. Worst impacts are going to be Tuesday morning into Tuesday afternoon, with them finally calming down by Wednesday morning. Stay sheltered until Wednesday morning. Santa Clara will be getting impacted by, or wait, hold on, wait, where's that? Santa Clara, let me check where that is. Santa Clara, is that Jamaica? Let me just make sure. No, is that going to be Cuba? Sorry about that, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, Santa Clara in Cuba. Let me see where that is. I believe I know where that is located at. No, I don't. Man, okay. Don't really know where that's located at, sorry. I need the country. Good night. What about St. Anne? St. Anne is expected to see throughout the entire parish, if I cover St. Anne here. Let me zoom in some. Alright, so the entirety of St. Anne is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic... Major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, and I will highlight it for you here. In terms of impacts here, let me just cover this right here. Major impacts in form of, major impacts for the entire island, or the entire St. Anne portions here, and highlighting the areas of, is this not St. Anne? This may not be St. No, this is St. Anne. Okay, I'm looking at my map and trying to figure out what this is. Okay, here we go. This area, including Ocho Rios, is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches of rain being forecasted there. And I do want to ask, guys, can you leave in the chat 9:15 in the chat, just so that way when I get there, I can finally see how far behind I am? Thank you guys so much. Alright, now I am going to be, as I go through this, let me just add something real quick, just so that way I know that if I've already mentioned a parish that I don't answer duplicate questions. Let me just, sorry guys, give me one moment here, let me just see if I can add it here, please, let me do this. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to make sure I answer all the questions, because I want to make sure if I answer, two people ask the same questions within 15 minutes, I don't I don't answer two things within the same 15 minutes. Okay, I should be ready here. Let me make sure I got that all going. Okay, nope, this is not big enough. Sorry, guys, I'm just doing this off screen real quick. Okay, so this is going to be St. Anne. Let's discuss those impacts. Again, 16 to 20 inches, major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts there. Catastrophic impacts are expected for the western portions of St. Anne there, with, let's see, rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted there. So that's what including Clarkson and 9 Mile, Bamboo, those areas, all expected catastrophic impacts from the system. Let's see. St. Andrew, let's discuss St. Andrew with the system. St. Andrew is expected to see major impacts throughout the entirety, not catastrophic impacts. You are expected to see additional major impacts. You've already felt some impacts, that's why it's been downgraded. Major impacts throughout the entire parish of St. Andrew, wrong one, St. Andrew. Right through here, the entirety of St. Andrew is expected to see major impacts from the system, with rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches of rain there. Let's see, what else? Yeah, Jamaica can no longer evacuate since the airports are closed. Has Melissa turned north yet? Not exactly. It's trying to, it's stalling right now. It is going to be turning north though any moment now. Within the hour, it should be turning north. Bermuda will also get affected, yes. Bermuda Hamilton, what kind of impacts could you get there? I'd be expecting slight impacts. I can't really say much beyond that. It's a little bit far out, but yeah, you know what? We can discuss impacts in Bermuda. Impacts look like they pick up on Friday, really. Friday is going to be the worst day of impacts for you with this system, at least according to the European run. Slight impacts are being forecasted for you there. It's a little bit uncertain this far out. Let's discuss more here. What strength do you think will be at landfall? I do expect it to be a Category 5 at landfall. Is Spanish Town safe from a direct hit? Yes. And let's discuss Spanish Town's impacts from the system. And let me just make sure I do this here, just so that way I answer all the questions there. Alright, in terms of impacts from Spanish Town, or Spanish Town's impacts, you are expected to see moderate to major impacts with the system. I would be expecting major impacts. 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall totals, major flooding concerns. Worst day of impacts for wind is going to be tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, when it finally calms down then by Wednesday morning. Alright. Now I do want to real quickly mention, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're at 4.52K. Let's see if we can reach 4.55 thousand by the end of the stream. We're only 30 away. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow morning by the time it makes landfall. So be sure to subscribe, as I will be doing a live stream as it's making landfall, discussing all those impacts and where the eye is, where the eye wall is, and discussing impacts there, and walking you guys through it with my team, with some of my team members. See, what about Bogue Hill in St. James? Let's discuss Bogue Hill. Nope, it won't show up here, but let's discuss St. James as a parish in terms of impacts you're expected to get there. The entirety of St. James is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts throughout the entire parish there, which does include this region as well. So again, right in here. The entire parish of St. James is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches of rain now being forecasted for you there. That does also include Montego Bay in that possibility of catastrophic impacts. Let's see here, what else? Let me just make sure. Yep, okay, that's written down. Yeah, it will be a extratropical cyclone by the time it's reaching Atlantic Canada. What about Betheltown? Let's discuss that area. Don't think I've seen that mentioned a lot. Let's discuss those areas. You are expected to see, let me just see where you are, which parish you are in. You're in Eastern, okay, you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts with the system. 16 to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted for you there. You may be getting hit with a Category 5. It's a little bit uncertain because it's doing a lot of wobbling right now, where exactly it's going to be directly hitting as a Category 5 or 4. Worst day of impacts are going to be tomorrow, of course, around tomorrow afternoonish. I will be doing a live stream covering your impacts there, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Alright. See, what about Black River? Let's discuss Black River. Alright, Black River is expected to see, let me just discuss that there. Yeah, Black River is expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system, as it could be making landfall as a Category 5, and also 20 to 30 inches of rain are being forecasted for you there. And looks like, let me see there. Yeah, so catastrophic impacts, worst day of impacts is going to be tomorrow. Looks like tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, then finally calms down by Wednesday morning. So again, catastrophic impacts are being forecasted for you in Black River. How fast is the hurricane traveling? It is currently stationary right now, not moving at all. It will be moving to the north, though, fairly soon. Is it normal for a hurricane to be stationary for this long? It is normal for this when it starts shifting all of a sudden. You know, it's supposed to make a sudden northward jog, so it does kind of stay stationary before it does this. So again, before storms make right-hand turns or like 90-degree angle turns like this kind of storm is trying to do, it does stall for a bit because it's starting to feel now the influence of, oh, there's a ridge broken now. Now there's an escape route. I'm going to be taking that escape route now. Because there's like a wall to the west and there's a wall to the east and there's only a gap to the north that it's now trying to go towards. There's a trough that's going to be like an area of low pressure that's going to be tugging it out. I would like to show you guys a graphic here kind of showing you why it's going to be, but Tropical Tidbits is down, unfortunately. Too many people are using the website. Let's see, is it going to work? No, still down, unfortunately. Too many people are using it. So that's why I'm trying to give all the information out to you guys as I can. Let's see here. Whoops. Okay. Let's go into Mason Hall and St. Mary. Let's discuss Mason Hall in terms of impacts that you are going to be getting in Mason Hall. Let's see, you are expected to see major impacts from this system. Rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches are being forecasted for you. Really peaks out tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. Doesn't really calm down until Wednesday morning into Wednesday night. How about Westmoreland? Let's discuss Westmoreland's impacts. In terms of Westmoreland, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts, major to catastrophic, depending on whether or not it makes a Category 5 landfall in your parish. Eastern Westmoreland should be prepared for, let me zoom in here. You also have a 16% chance of it making landfall in your parish. The eastern portions are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts in the form of rainfall, with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches. Now let's see what else here. And that does include Negril. Let's see, Harbor View. Let's discuss Harbor View's impacts. That is going to be in portions of St. Thomas there. Impacts you are expected to see, I would say, major impacts, 12 to 16 inches of rain, with it peaking out throughout the day tomorrow, with it then calming down by Wednesday. All right, guys. Now, can you type? Or sorry, not yet. Not yet. Don't type anything just yet. I'm going to be getting through all the things here. But Cayman Islands, I am not expecting to get impacted by this. See, St. Catherine. Let's discuss St. Catherine's impacts with the system. Okay, St. Catherine is expected to see catastrophic. Or let me check. St. Catherine is where? Hold on. No, sorry, not catastrophic. You are expected to see moderate to major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. Let's discuss that here. St. Catherine also has or no chance of landfall, really. Maybe just a 2% chance that it makes landfall over here. In terms of the impacts, if you're in the southern portions of St. Catherine, you are only expected to see moderate impacts, moderate to major, with rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches of rain over here. In terms of this portion of St. Catherine, you are expected to see major impacts with 12 to 8 or 12 to 16 inches of rain there. And in this portion of northwestern St. Catherine, you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches of rainfall there. Let's see what else here. Oops, guys. There we go. Okay, yes. Thank you guys for all your help. Let's see. St. Thomas. Let's discuss St. Thomas here. St. Thomas, it's around a similar scenario for you there. Let me just add to my list of places asked for. Let me just, sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure I do this here. St. Thomas. Okay. In terms of impacts in St. Thomas, you are expected to see moderate to major impacts, depending on where you're located at, additional impacts. If you're in portions of southeastern St. Thomas, you are expected to see moderate impacts with the possibility of major impacts with 8 to 12 inches of additional rainfall expected for you there. If you're in northwestern St. Thomas, you are expected to see major impacts with 12 to 16 inches of additional rainfall expected for you there. Let's see. Let's see. So, St. Catherine, I just answered that. Black River, I discussed that. St. Catherine. Portland, let's discuss Portland. Portland is expected to see major impacts from the storm, depending on where you're located, though. If you're in portions of eastern Portland, you're only expected to see a moderate with a possibility of major impacts with rainfall totals of 8 to 12 inches, whereas if you're in the western portions, you are expected to see major impacts with totals of 12 to 16 inches of rain there. Black River, Portland, yes. Black River, St. Catherine, yes. Harbor View, I believe I discussed it, or discussed. Let's see what else here. Hanover, again, the entirety of Hanover is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. How many feet of surge? That's a little bit uncertain this far out. I'm not sure. Alligator Pond, it all depends on if it makes landfall east or west there. Is there a low pressure area in the west of the Philippine Sea? Yes, and it's going to be, let me just look at that briefly. It is going to be, I believe, which one is it? Is that 160 westerlier? It is probably, let me see where it was. It was that guy, and then let me see where he's tracked. Okay, it's this guy right over here. This is the low pressure area that could be impacting the Philippines over the next few days. Or over the next week. It's going to take a little bit to get to you in the Philippines. I'll have more updates on that over the coming days. Don't worry. You won't be caught off guard. And guys, can someone in the chat please type in 9:30 just so that way I know know how far back I am, but behind the questions. Thank you guys. So you mentioned Spanish Town, Alligator Pond, Manchester. Did I do that? No, I did not. Let's discuss Manchester's impacts. See, in terms of impacts in Manchester, you are expected to see major to catastrophic impacts depending on where you are. Let me highlight that. Manchester has a 4% chance of a direct landfall, but let's discuss the impacts in Manchester. So if you're in the portions of southern Manchester, let me zoom in more on Manchester. Here we go. So if you're in portions of southern Manchester, you are expected to see a rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches of rain, right around here, I'd say. 12 to 16 inches of rain being forecasted there. That's major impacts. In this region right over here, let me just highlight it like this color right in here. This area, you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts with rainfall totals of 16 to 20 inches of rain. And I'd honestly be forecasting catastrophic impacts throughout the coast here, throughout this region, because it could be making landfall as a Category 5. And then this region is expected to see catastrophic impacts, at least in the form of rainfall, with rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches being forecasted for you there. So I did St. James, I did St. Anne, I did Harbor View. Okay, now I'm 9:15, so now I'm only 15 minutes behind. Now I'll be answering more of your questions more quickly. Let me see if I can get... Hold on. All right. Let me just see if he's available or not. All right, now let's answer some more questions here. What about Kingston? Kingston is expected to see major impacts there with rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches of rain with the system. In terms of impacts, it's going to be the worst, looks like tomorrow afternoonish, with it then finally calming down by Wednesday morning. So stay sheltered if you are in Kingston. How will Black River in St. Elizabeth be affected? Let me just cut this down on the top bar right there to now down to 20 minutes. Look at analytics real quick. Okay, what about where I mentioned, okay, Black River in St. Elizabeth. Black River, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system with rainfall totals of around 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. In terms of impact timing for Black River, looks to be the worst tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, with it then finally calming down by Wednesday morning. Now, guys, I did want to say, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as it really helps out a lot. We are now only around, let's see, we are 4.53 thousand. Let's see if we can hit 4.55 thousand. We're only 20 away. Now, I did want to ask, guys, what kind of impact or what kind of cone do you prefer more? Either this cone right here, mine, that shows more of the impacts, or the NHC, the National Hurricane Center here. What cone do you prefer, like, in terms of design and practicality of it, I guess? Like, what's more useful to you? What do you like more? Kind of thing. Again, this is mine, and then this is the National Hurricane Center, NHC. I have a poll there. If you would vote on that, please, that would help out a lot. Kind of just understanding more about what do you guys like more. Let's see. Let's see. Let me just show it to him here. I'm going to be bringing in someone else to be commentating for around 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm going to be getting someone else to commentate for a little bit as I eat briefly. Let me just see this real quick. Let me just add this real quick. Let me just see if I can go up real quick here. Let me just, come on. Okay. So guys, again, if you have any questions about your local impacts, you can always leave them in the chat. Come on, where is it? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get to this here. There we go. Okay. All right. I'm going to bring him in briefly for like 5 to 10 minutes, so he can talk more about the rainfall threats in the storm surge threats. All right. Are you there? All
All right.
right. Hello. So I'm currently showing the graphic on the cone, so you can discuss what areas are in what impacts. I will be back in like 5 minutes.
Sounds good. Hello, everyone. This is Sharkias here. Just get here to help while Chase goes and runs real quick. So, we're going to be talking about rainfall here. So, as Melissa currently is stationary and just sitting where it is, we are expecting that jog to the north here very, very soon. And obviously, the areas in the path here, St. Elizabeth Parish, Westmoreland Parish, these are probably going to have the worst impacts in terms of the winds. And in terms of rainfall, as you can see on the map here, we're looking at 30 plus inches, maybe 20 to 30 inches is at least the minimum right now, is what we're seeing. But with how much rain has already been falling, you could see 30 plus inches in those areas in pink right now, maybe even outside of that. So, those of you who are in St. Elizabeth Parish, Trelawney Parish, St. Anne, Manchester, Clarendon, I'm hoping I'm saying those right for you guys. But if you guys are in those parishes, expect a ton of rain along with storm surge. This is not a good situation with 13 feet of storm surge expected, along with the already flooded roads. It's just not a good combination. There's going to be extra water than what we are seeing right now. And with Melissa expected to strengthen once again, those amounts could be even higher for storm surge, as Melissa is supposed to strengthen again. And then even if it weakens, and this is where people tend to like take this with a grain of salt, right? It's weakening. It's not as impactful as it will be, but the rain is going to stay the same. All right. It's not going to change. It'll even get higher because when a tropical cyclone, say as Melissa, goes through an eye wall replacement cycle or tends to weaken, the winds will go down for sure, but the rain won't. Rain, in fact, gets worse because the storm expands, the wind field expands. So even if this like weakens, it's still going to be a very terrible situation for everyone in the path here. So we're still expecting to see extreme impacts in these areas on the western half of Jamaica here. Again, this is one of the most dangerous hurricanes I've ever seen, at least for this area. Again, reminiscing Gilbert of 1988. This has been a conversation for many of you who live in Jamaica who have went through Gilbert. Again, this one could be worse though. Basically, Gilbert made landfall as a Category 3. Melissa is expected to make landfall as either a Category 4 or a Category 5. At this moment, Melissa has not been weakening. It just went, what everyone believes it underwent this eye wall replacement cycle where the eye stays there. It's just something where, again, I'm just learning this myself, but it underwent like a little small eye wall replacement cycle, and that's why we've seen momentary weakness in the pressure. But it is expected to drop, and there's some models saying it could drop below 899 tonight. So again, it could still strengthen. So the worst case scenario being the strongest winds on landfall. But the worst concern, and many people underestimate this, is the rain. Please, 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 please do not underestimate the rain. It has already been raining like crazy there. I've been watching live streams as of late, seeing live cameras. It's downpouring in some of these areas already. It's just not worth it. Like I said, stay above ground at all times. Being in the basement, worst case scenario here. But if you are in the path of this hurricane and you need to get out, all right, the National Hurricane Center did post something very important that everyone should be listening to, is that they think total structural failure is likely. This means your house will not survive if you're going to go through the eye wall. So again, if you're in those areas where the eye wall will likely pass over you, which is around St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland parishes there, anywhere there where the eye wall will be, worst spot, worst possible spot. I'm hoping most people evacuated here, but again, there's a hospital in St. Elizabeth Parish that's being evacuated on the coast as well right now. So again, this is just extremely, extremely dangerous. We expected it to slow down before turning to the north, and it is stationary right now, so it could make that northern jog at any point here. We're still waiting to see it. It's been stationary for at least a good over 30 minutes, and it hasn't really been moving. But we do expect that northern jog here. So Chase is nearly back here, so I'll just stay around here for a couple more minutes. See what else I can tell you guys. So the storm is, in my opinion, it looks a lot stronger than it was before. So it looks like it is getting stronger once again. So
All right, I'm back. I'm back.
again, this is just an
Sorry, hold on, let me
dangerous
unmute for
situation.
him real
Please
quick.
take every warning seriously.
All right, I'm back.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see. Okay, thank you so much, Sharkius, for your help. I want to ask the
Yeah,
chat,
yeah.
guys, do you want Sharkius to stick around?
I wasn't really looking at it. I'll get on my computer if they do.
Oh, yeah, all good. Yeah, I'll ask you guys. Do you want Sharkius to tune in and start giving some feedback on some of this? On the storm?
Chase, I'm gonna send you something quick in your DMs. You gotta see
All right.
this.
Oh, dang. Wow. Okay, that's Dvorak there showing such a powerful storm. Satellite estimates showing it's 882 millibars is what one of the algorithms is showing. It's could be. I don't think Recon's showing it as that strong.
Nope, I don't think they're flying through it at the moment yet.
Nope. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, it seems like people want you to stick around. If you want to, you can get on your computer or whatever.
Yeah, I am just hopping on right now.
All right, and I'll probably share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing.
My goodness.
Okay, in theory, this should be working now. All right, so let's discuss more about some of these questions here. I'm going to scroll up to where I left off on. Let's see, low pressure in the Philippine Sea. Let's see, Manchester. In terms of impacts in Manchester, that is going to be Manchester Parish. They are expected to see. Here, I'll let Sharkis. I'll let you answer the questions about rainfall totals there, since you have. If they ask about parishes.
Okay. Let me pull up your stream here.
And I will show up the graphic here. So Manchester, that's Manchester Parish right now, and the rainfall totals they're expected to get.
20 to 30 inches and 500 to 750 millimeters. That's over 2 feet of rain. Absolutely insane. I have no words for that.
Yes.
I just don't.
So we got a question about St. James here.
St. James Parish. Right up in the northeastern side of Jamaica, or northwestern side of Jamaica, excuse me.
Yeah, and use inches here.
This is 16 to 20 inches in the dark red there.
That's throughout the entirety of St. James.
Yes, the entirety of St. James in the dark red.
Let's see, and I have a question for Portmore. I will pull up those impacts in Portmore.
Portmore. Could this hit Kingston? Again, I'm going to answer this question real quick while you look up that.
Yes.
So a question about Kingston. Kingston, I think, is mainly out of the path at this point. With Melissa, the way it's been moving more west than initially anticipated. And now it looks to be looping over itself as of recent satellite imagery. It was moving north and then it just stopped again. It looks to be moving a little bit more east now.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden. And it looks like it's kind of looping, but then it might just jog to the north here. So I think Kingston is going to be out of the direct eye wall impacts, but still expect a ton of rain from this.
Yes. Let's see. We should probably go back and forth answering questions. I think that will work out nicely. So,
Yes.
Question for Portmore. In terms of Portmore's impacts, they are expected to see major impacts from this system in terms of the rainfall, with rainfall totals of 12 to 16 inches of rain. And really peaking out on Tuesday morning, and then finally starting to calm down by Wednesday.
I'm going to pull up that website. You can answer another one quick while I pull up that website you have.
There's a question for you here. Do you think that they will have more merging eye wall replacement cycles?
Yes, so that's the one I was talking about earlier. While you were gone, I mentioned
Yes.
that it had a merge eyewall replacement cycle. I had three of those actually today, from what it looked like on radar imagery when I was watching.
Hmm.
It looks like that there it just completed its third one, maybe just about 10, 20 minutes ago. So when I looked at the difference between 21Z and now 01Z, the difference is crazy. It looks even more intense than what it was originally. So when recon flies through this, we could see a significant change, possibly. It really all depends here.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know if it'll go through another one. It very well could. I mean, it's already done three, so why can't it do a fourth, right?
Yes.
Let's
See.
see.
How badly will
Any
Black
more?
River, St. Elizabeth be impacted? So, St. Elizabeth, their Black River, they are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this storm, with rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches being expected for you there. The worst day of impacts is going to be tomorrow, of course, around noonish. Before then, things calm down on Wednesday.
Yes. Taking a look here. Right now.
Let's see. What about Stony Hill? I'll pull that area up. Stony Hill, and that is, there's multiple Stony Hills. I'm not quite sure which one you mean. If you could mention the parish, that'd be great.
Let's see.
We got a question for Portland. You want to answer that? How much rain could Portland see, depending on which side?
So looks like a majority of Portland on the western side can see around 12 to 16 inches of rain. Just a rough estimate here. And the very, very eastern half, so extreme northeastern Portland can see around 8 to 12 here. So again, these are just estimates, but from what we're seeing, again, this could very well have changed now with how Melissa has had its recent jogs,
Hmm.
but still expect the worst possible situation because preparing for the worst is better than preparing for the least.
Yes.
Let's see. Hurricane tracker.
Yes, like the stream if you haven't already, guys. It really helps out a lot. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We are now 16 away from 4.55 thousand. Let's try to reach it before the end of the stream. We will be doing more streams, especially during the live or when it's making landfall.
So be
Let's see what else here.
okay.
How about Hanover? We have a question there. This is Hanover here. This varies a lot. So you want to say this? How much rainfall they're expected to get here in Hanover?
Looks like we got four different colors here. So on the extreme, extreme, extreme. So this is like on the very tip here near Westmoreland Parish here. We are expected to only get 4 to 6 inches on that very end coast, which is probably
Oh no, no,
not
6 to
likely
8 inches.
someone was there. Oh, is that 6 to 8?
Yes, all good, all good.
Wait, no, it's not. Well, yeah, it is. Never
All
mind.
good.
Anyways, 6 to 8 inches, and then in the orange there, 8 to 12. So that's around half of the parish here, and including Westmoreland here. In the central, that looks like about the central part of
Mm-hmm.
Hanover, around 12 to 16, and then the very, very eastern half here, 16 to 20.
Yes.
So
This whole area is
honestly,
expected to see major impacts in form of rainfall, and this area could see potentially catastrophic impacts.
a foot or over is definitely major. That's for sure.
Yes.
That's something to always keep an eye on here. See if we got any questions. Can Melissa continue to the west? It is very possible, but the way it's been stationary and the way it tried to jog north and then tried to jog east, it's kind of heading in the opposite direction of west right now,
Mm-hmm.
which is extremely. It's crazy to me. Honestly, this storm has been very unpredictable as of the last few weeks. It's been doing a lot of loops, and it's old track. There's been a lot of times it's looped over itself, so it could very well be
Yes.
doing that again, and then it could jog to the northeast and move even more to the right than what they're forecasting, or it can move even more to the left. So again, that cone of uncertainty right there, that is where we keep our eyes on the very edge of the left side of the cone and the right side of the cone. Not just where the category 5 line is, but the edges of the cone is where it could end up going.
Yes.
So anywhere in the cone of uncertainty is should be treated as if you're still in the path.
This could get a direct
Because
hit.
especially with this, yep, especially with the way it's been meandering like this. It's been doing this for the past few days, where it's just been meandering, moving very slowly and looping.
Yes. We got a question for Trelawney. Let's discuss that here. Rainfall totals, look at this, even higher.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So the southeastern side of Trelawney is in the 20 to 30 inches of rain, which is catastrophic impacts. This is something you never want to see, but that is the highest threshold at the moment. Again, it could be relatively higher. It depends on how fast Melissa speeds up before it makes landfall, before it gets away from the islands. But the way it's moving right now, I'd expect 30 plus from the way it's moving right now. I'd say prepare for the worst. But with the way we're thinking of it right now, it's 20 to 30, but it could be even worse. So just keep that into consideration with how the storm's been moving. It's been moving less than 5 miles per hour basically for a few days now, hasn't it?
Yes, very slow movements.
Okay. All right. And the rest of Trelawney, which is the northwest quadrant, is around still 16 to 20. So that is still major to catastrophic impacts.
Yes.
So I think something to keep in consideration when we're talking about rainfall totals, if we talk about 16 to 20, that is major to catastrophic, and 20 plus is catastrophic.
Let's discuss Mandeville. Mandeville is expected to see a rainfall totals of 20 to 30 inches of rain, and so catastrophic impacts are expected for Mandeville there, with the peak impacts happening really tomorrow in the afternoon hours or so into tomorrow night. Finally calms down by Wednesday morning, though. There's a question here, is Cuba in danger? Well, looking at this graphic,
Cuba.
What do you think, Sharkus?
Yeah, honestly, Cuba still has the chance to see extreme impacts. So these are worse than, in terms of catastrophic. These extreme impacts could be worse than catastrophic. I mean,
It's
when
the same
Chase
thing.
highlights in his cone,
Yes.
right? But in your cone, what I mean is in your cone, and you've said this before, that anything that's in the dashed or the highlighted ones, so the pink lines, and then it gets a little quieter, is something that they've never seen before.
Yes.
Is that you've mentioned that before? So again, this is something Cuba might not have seen before. If this storm does hit Jamaica, it could still likely be a Category 3 to 4 storm when it makes landfall in Cuba. It all depends on how fast it's moving, because the longer it lasts inland, the weaker it gets. So it all depends on how long it stalls over Jamaica, or how long, or if it can still intensify, which it likely is right now.
So yeah, Cuba is in danger, mainly southeastern Cuba.
Let's see.
We got a question for St. Andrew. Let's see, that is going to be this parish right over here. All one color.
St. Andrew, yep, that is 12 to 16, so that's around major impacts for St. Andrew. At that point, the whole parish is in there, so we don't really got to go into detail.
Yes.
So expect 12 to 16, maybe even 16 to 20. It just all depends. I'd say prepare for the level above with a storm like Melissa.
We got a question for the impacts in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Currently, I've highlighted that for the slight impacts there. I think these are the Turks and Caicos slight impacts right now. It's going to be a little bit to the west of you, fortunately.
Yep, it's going to impact the eastern half, the eastern half of the Bahamas.
Yep.
So it'll stay away from you, but you guys are still expected to maybe see hurricane force winds, at least Category 1 possibly. You are under a hurricane watch and tropical storm warning for the moment. Again, it depends if militia shifts or not, but the way it's been moving, again, it's been meandering quite a lot. So I'd say prepare for the level above. I'd always say this for a storm that meanders. And Melissa has been doing this her entire time that she's been a tropical cyclone. It's just meander. It's sitting there.
Yes. Let's see what other questions we have. Bread Nuts Hill. I'll try to search up that location. In terms of impacts there, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts with 20 to 30 inches of rain being expected for you there. Really peaking out on tomorrow in the afternoon hours to evening hours. Could even get the eye. That's what the European run is showing, going directly over you. with the core of potentially Category 4 or 5. So again, catastrophic impacts not just from the rain, but also the wind there. It then does calm down by Wednesday morning.
We got a question about Clarendon.
Oh yeah, let me pull up Clarendon Parish here, so then we can discuss that. Large
So
variability.
Clarendon Parish, about the northern half there, expect extreme impacts in the north there, 20 to 30 inches. In the north, mainly north, but it's also mainly west. And then in the kind of north central areas, 16 to 20, so around major to catastrophic impacts there. In the south central area, around 12 to 16, so major impacts, and then 8 to 12 in the southern half here, on the
Yes.
borderline of 6 to 8, but again, 8 to 12 is the main one here.
It's really anywhere from
So,
6 to 30 inches, or 8 to 30
yep, 6
inches.
to 8 to 30.
Yes.
8 to 30 inches could very well differ, but again, I'd say always prepare for the level above of what we're saying. It is extremely, extremely important that you over prepare, not under prepare.
Yes.
Let's see. After Clarendon,
Got Ocho Rios. That's a city there.
yep,
Let's pull up that.
Ocho Rios.
That area is expected to get, let me see, that is going to be major impacts with, is that the possibility? Let me just check. I'm looking. Okay, major with the possibility of catastrophic impacts in this region. So they could be seeing 16 to 20 inches of rain in this region here. Impacts will be continuing to deteriorate overnight and then peaking, it looks like, at around tomorrow evening into tomorrow night before then finally calming down by Wednesday morning. I would not be leaving your shelter until at least Wednesday morning.
I think one of the most important things to mention here is rain per hour. What I'm seeing there in Ocho Rios
This is
is
3 hours.
69.69.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like every 3 hours there, yeah.
Yes.
So that is something important to mention.
Mm-hmm. Yep, rainfall peaks. Yes,
Rainfall
around
peaks
tomorrow
per
evening.
hour. I don't know if that's per hour or per 3 hours, but
Yep, per 3 hours for some reason. It's just because these are all 3 hour forecast here. 1 a.m., 4 a.m., 7 a.m., so it's weird.
good thing I'm getting used to this now.
Yes.
Let's see. After that, we got St. Anne.
Well, we do have something saying Beryl was bad, but Melissa was worse. You think Melissa's going to be worse than Beryl was?
Me?
Yes. Remember, Beryl went this way as a Cat 4.
Almost definitely, yes.
Yes, this
I'm
is...
going to say, I'm even pulling the trigger on this. It's going to be worse than Gilbert.
Yes. For
And
areas
the
that
reason
hit.
why I say this is because the way it's going to make landfall, either as a category 4 or 5, Gilbert made landfall as a 3. Always remember that. So it's going to make landfall as a 4 or a 4 or a 5. So it's already worse in that sense. But the fact that we've already had over 8 casualties from this storm, which is, I hate saying that, it's just super unfortunate.
Where did they happen?
It just doesn't. So Haiti had 5.
Mm-hmm. Haiti.
I say Haiti. That's what it's actually. I think that's what it's actually called. I don't know
Oh,
about
dang.
there.
Okay, I might be wrong.
But
My bad.
one of us is bad. One of us is wrong. Tell us which one of us is wrong in the chat.
Let
But
us know. How do you pronounce Haiti?
I say Haiti. So in Haiti there was 5. In Jamaica there's already 2.
Man.
Um,
Do you know which
Dominican
parishes?
Republic there's 1. No, but I remember checking. I don't know the parishes. I just know the countries.
Mm-hmm.
So Dominican Republic had 1. Haiti had 4. Jamaica has 3 now already, and 13 injuries in Jamaica, by the way. Already.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's not even hit yet.
Yeah, it's not even hit yet. That's not good. I wonder where that's happening though.
There's St. Anne. There's a question about St. Anne's impacts, which it's mainly 2 colored areas here.
St. Anne, yes. St. Anne mainly in the 20 to 30. So again, this is catastrophic impacts anywhere in the 20 to 30. And then the eastern half here in 16 to 20. So again, mainly major to catastrophic impacts, but mainly catastrophic impacts.
Yes.
In all of St. Anne for rain.
Let's see.
I'm actually going to pull your graphic up on one of my tabs here.
Okay. Yes.
So I have that there so I can look at it myself too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So are you pulling up the rainfall graphic on your thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
And
So
I'm
I'm
pulling
going
up
to be
your
showing
cone
more
graphic as well.
cities when you mention it. So we have a question about Trelawney and Albertown. I'll pull up Albertown's location.
Oh, crud, you're right. It's Haiti. Dang it.
It's okay.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for correcting me on that.
It's
All right, let's see. Let's see what the next
sorry,
question
I don't
is.
know. Oh man, I'm doing Alberto Town.
Alberto Town. Okay.
Albert Town is what
Albert
it
Town.
means, yes.
It's Albert Town. Yep.
Yes. So this is in southeastern Trelawney. You can already see what impacts they're expected to get. 20 to 30 inches of rain. Catastrophic impacts are expected for you there in Albert Town. Impacts will be peaking out tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, with them finally calming down on Wednesday morning.
Let's see. So again, commented. I'm gonna get rid of this. Please only comment once. We have a lot to get to. Please, please. Thank you.
Could
Oh,
this
that's
hit
one I already
Kingston?
read.
Oh yeah, you already read that. Yep.
I think I read that one.
West,
Yeah,
yeah.
I kind of read some right away.
Oh good.
While you're going down the old ones, I'm trying to get the new ones.
Mhm.
So someone said check recon.
Yes. Have you seen anything on Recon yet?
Not at the moment, no.
Recon's in the storm. They did get a pressure of 907 millibars, looks like. Let me see when they got the eye. I mean, okay, the websites aren't doing that great right now. Everything's kind of crashing. So I'll try to pull up this. It's because so many people are using the websites now, and it makes sense. 'Cause, I mean, it's such a powerful hurricane, such a monster. Oh man, this is not what you like to see here. Look at all this banding now slamming into Jamaica.
Yeah, I was noticing that when I was watching Max Velocity earlier. Just popping up and a lot of explosive thunderstorms coming up here. Also, with something that I should mention that I heard, and this is, I don't know if this is for sure or not, but with these bands exploding, there is a low tornado potential, so please
Oh yes.
stay vigilant out there while you're there. Let's see, aircraft
Yes.
recon.
Even more
See
reason
what
for you to be
Recon said.
staying sheltered.
Yes. And I mentioned this while you were gone as well. If you're in the eye wall, it's important to get out of there.
Or
Because
like, what do you
the
mean?
National Hurricane Center,
Yeah.
the National Hurricane Center specifically noted that all structural failure is likely within the eye wall.
Yes. Total structural failure there. Can't really get out of there though. You can't really get out, so you need to stay hunkered down.
Not anymore.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I mean, the airport closed, I think, 2 days ago at 9. It was last night at 9, I think.
Yep.
I thought it was 2 days ago now, but I'm a little ahead of myself. Let's see. Okay. Like I said, you don't need to comment multiple times. We'll get to you. I see Ochos Rios once again. We'll go through that in just a second.
Okay, yeah, I'll pull up Ocho Rios.
You go ahead. I'll do treasure beats here.
Ocho Rios is only expected to get around. This is in the northern portions of St. Anne. There, they are expected to get around. I'd say around 16 to 20 inches of rain, so major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts for you there. Peaking out at around Tuesday evening into Tuesday nights, then calming down on Wednesday. Now, Sharkies,
for
you
Treasure
mentioned
Beach
Treasure
here-
Beach. This is where Treasure Beach is
Yep.
located.
So for treasure beats here,
Southwestern
we
St.
are.
Elizabeth.
Yep. I kind of had to highlight it. What have Santa Cruz highlight? Okay, here it is. So the possibility right now we're looking for Treasure Beach here. The worst of the impacts are around 7 to 10 a.m. on Tuesday, before softening up around 4 to 7 p.m. We could see wind gusts there near 135, but the rainfall totals per 3 hours is 3.88 at the 1 p.m. mark here. So the heaviest rain will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Tuesday before it calms down.
I wouldn't be mentioning too much about specifics there because, you know, it could be moving slower, could be moving faster. It's quite uncertain.
I know it's quite uncertain, but again, it's always important to prepare for the worst because
Yes.
and I will say this too. I know this well. My mom was in the Yucatan before getting chased out by hurricanes, so she knows that, and that's kind of where I learned from her on that. Again, always prepare for the worst. You never know what's going to happen with a storm like this, with the way it's been acting.
Yes. 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted there, and this could get a direct hit by a Category 5, unfortunately. So be prepared for catastrophic impacts with the system if you're in Treasure Beach.
Yes. Is it turning north now? From the latest look on satellite, if I re-pull it up, actually, yes, it is. It is turning north now.
All right, let's pull up the latest
Northeast.
imagery here. Yep, looks like it's turning
Northeast.
north-northeast. Yes, I see that there. Wow, okay. Now starting to take a jog to the north.
Here it comes. And this is, I knew this was going to happen eventually. Just staying still, and it looped. It looks like it looped a little bit. So it did a little loop-to-loop, and now it's jogging northeast.
It's unfortunately getting closer to Jamaica now. Do you want to pull up the most recent recon pass in this? Is this their pressure? They got a pressure of 907 millibars as of their latest update. This was as of around 50 minutes ago or so.
They're about to do another pass, though, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we get the most recent update here soon. Let's see. So a growing theme right now, based on what I'm seeing, is as the storm takes the north jog, people still expect it to intensify. The eye is oh my.
But did you see the pictures of the eye and recon?
Yeah. Oh no.
Yes. I can't really show that because that's likely copyrighted. But man, like the images of the eye are just beautiful.
Like inside the eye, yeah, I've seen that.
Mhm.
It's crazy in there.
So we
Oh
got a
my
question
goodness.
for White House that is going to be somewhere along
White House.
over here. White House is expected to see catastrophic impacts because they could be getting directly hit by a Category 5 strength system. Looks like the peak is going to be around tomorrow morning into tomorrow night. And then looks like it finally starts calming down by Wednesday morning. And rainfall totals of around 16 to 20 inches are being forecasted for you there. No, actually, that's even, is it? Yeah, 16 to 20 inches of rain. So major to potentially catastrophic rainfall totals and catastrophic winds are possible for you there.
Oh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
What's up?
This is extremely important. I need to send this to you right now.
Okay.
It just really caught my eye. I don't want to really say it out loud, but newest update here.
Oh wow, okay. This is automated Dvorak here showing just how strong of a storm this may be. It's all the way in the 180 knots or 179 knots there. Just insane how high it's kind of estimating the storm. 878 millibars. It's not doing that great of a job, I don't think. It looks much better than it actually is doing. Current pressures is only 907 millibars, and saying only is crazy for a storm like this.
And nearly 180 knots. That's around 205 if we convert it. But again, that's just Dvorak's an assumption right now. I mean, there was a model that predicted this storm to have 878 millibars earlier in its life. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
But that's crazy. Again, even if these aren't real models from the Hurricane Center, I mean, the way this storm looks, it's without a doubt close to that intensity.
Man,
It
and the
could
latest
be. It
HAPS,
could be. Even with wind gusts too. I mean, these aren't. Even if it's not sustained, I mean, the wind gusts in the storm are still insane. I mean, if you think about, I don't know how many Jamaicans in here know about, severe thunderstorm warnings. I don't know how many times you guys get those, but they do it based off wind gusts. So that's where I'm like, this it could be a. Oh my goodness, where'd you get that?
what this is the HAPS A model run here showing it making
896.
and then having it making landfall with a pressure of 905 millibars intensifies at landfall there. It's a powerful Category 5. And you can also see that tornado threat that you mentioned earlier for parts of Kingston with that eastern band.
If Kingston doesn't get in the eye, which doesn't look likely now, the tornado threat is going to be something to definitely watch here. In the eastern corridor of Jamaica here
Yes.
is that tornado threat with the outer bands. Oh, it looks like a line too, like a line of supercells
Yes,
right
right
there.
there.
That's crazy.
Just the bands that continuously form on the northeastern side.
So where it looks like it makes landfall, could you go back to that
Oh yeah,
real
this right
quick?
here.
Where's it? Yep, where's it like it makes landfall? Okay, right
Landfall
there.
is in St.
That's around
Elizabeth. Yep.
that's around Black River. Black River.
Yes, Black River.
That's exactly where it looks like it's gonna go, but again, we don't know for sure. Just
Let's
prepare for
compare
the
the
worst.
House B run here. Same kind of area.
Same area, yeah. That's around White House though, Crawford.
I mean, this is an insane image right here that I'm just gonna save it by sending it to you. The eyewall replacement cycle of this storm as a beast, Category 5, that this model run wants it to undergo.
898.
With another eyewall right around it there.
Challenge Milton from last year. Oh, goodness gracious.
This man, okay.
Two M names about to get retired in a row.
Slams
At least
into
I
Jamaica
think.
as a Category 5 there, and then slams into Cuba as likely a Category 3 strength system, and plows through the Bahamas as a Category 2, before strengthening potentially to a Category 2 or 3 by the time it nears Bermuda. It speeds off out to sea.
Oh no, is it up to 9 now? It's up to 9 now.
What's up on the Dvorak thing?
No, 9 fatalities, Melissa.
Oh, 9 fatalities. Oh, man.
Slowly ticking up, 28 injuries now. One still missing. They say Melissa peaked on Wikipedia. They say Melissa peaked. It definitely has not. It's still going to peak, I bet, in my
Wait,
opinion.
did it or didn't? Hold on. I need to see the latest National Hurricane Center forecast on its winds. Okay, they still have it at 175. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, that's still around the same here.
But it's
Did the
down to
pressure change at
907
all?
millibars, so it has strengthened.
It's down to 907 now?
Well, I mean, the Hurricane Center doesn't have it. They have it at 909. But Recon found 907 millibars, which means it is still deepening.
Oh, it's speeding up. It's speeding up.
Now it's moving more to the north.
Yeah, it look like if you go back on Zoom Earth
Mhm.
and you go to 7 p.m. and then just speed it up a little bit, you can see how fast it took off.
Yeah, from
So
the...
go to 7
Mhm.
p.m.
That's right down here.
all the way down to 7, and then
Mhm.
just speed it up. Just go forward.
Yep,
Look
now
how it
moving
just
towards
takes
the
off.
northeast.
Yep, it's moving
We can take a
northeast
look at
now.
some of the
Here we go.
mesosector imagery. That will be more up to date. The system, I believe
Yep.
it's Ghost 19 or Mesosector 2. Wait, where is it? Okay, hold on. They're on this cyclonic weather website. We can pull that up here. Here it is. This shows a better idea of where it's moving right now. Well, I mean, it's very high resolution imagery. In terms of its forward
It still
motion.
kind of looks stationary, but it is moving
Oh,
northeast.
I know what to do. There's a website called Real Earth here that I can kind of show very zoomed in look at where it's been moving.
I saw that. Oh my goodness.
Let's see here.
Holy goodness. Goes 19 on Sims DVTO has this as a T8.2,
Mhm.
winds of 176 knots and 882 millibars.
Yep, satellite estimates, I mean, it looks perfect.
Yeah, 100%. This is, I mean, in my opinion, and I know this is, I never really want to say this, but this is one of the most well-structured hurricanes I've ever witnessed.
Yes.
Didn't it break the record earlier for the driest eye?
Yes, I believe it did. Crazy storm, but that's also due to satellites that we have. Oh man, look at this
but
structure.
Incredible. It just looks incredible.
Let's see if I can.
Looks
pull
even
up some
more
imagery.
well structured than Milton last year.
Right here, I'll zoom in a lot more
North.
to try and figure out where it's going. I'll get some later frames than this.
Yeah, northeast. It looks like.
Just loading up the past 24 minutes of satellite imagery just to kind of see its movements in more detail. Yeah, here it is, moving more to the northeast in terms of where it's been. Let me just... There's where it's at now, and you can kind of see that northeastern motion now.
Yeah. Yep, northeast. It has shifted to the northeast here. Let's see. White House, New Hope. I think we already went over that. I don't think we're getting any more questions. Estimated landfall time. That is one of the most recent questions here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hard to decipher. You might have to do the models to get a more certain
Oh wait, what?
kind of estimate here on landfall time. That was one of the
Landfall
questions.
timing looks to be tomorrow at around. Let's see here. I'd say at around, what was it? It got pushed back a little bit. Looks like it's around noon, or this would be 12 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, so 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this would
You
be
mean Central?
no, Eastern Standard Time. That's for Jamaica. They use
Eastern Standard Time is
yes.
12. No, they don't. They use Central.
Wait, hold on. They're an
Yeah,
hour earlier
they
than we
do.
are. They're an hour earlier than I am. Their time right now is 9:16 p.m.
Same time as me.
Yes, but I mean their time zone. It's called Eastern Standard Time. Is
Really?
I swear.
That is so confusing.
Guys, what is your time zone called? I'm curious. If you
If you live in Jamaica.
yes, if you live in
Curious to
Jamaica,
know
what's
what
your
your
time
time
zone
is called.
called? And who is your co-host? It's Sharky, as you all should remember him from the last live stream. He was talking, or he was typing in the chat. Or I believe it was the last live stream or the one before. It was the last one. It was the last one. Sorry, I've done so many.
It was both.
Yes, both. Yeah. He was there
Yeah.
last time.
I wasn't on the call though. I was there helping
Yes.
moderators chat because I got text from him saying, "Please help me." I'm just kidding. Nothing like
Yes,
that.
I needed help. Like, man, I'm doing this for 3 hours. I'm like, oh my god, I need a break for like 5-10 minutes.
Where will Melissa hit in Cuba?
Okay,
And
I
what
got
will the wind
this.
speeds be? What are the wind speeds too? Okay.
Here,
There you
I'll
go,
say
Chase.
where it will hit, so you'll say the intensity. In terms of where it will hit, the Google AI Ensemble members, let's look at this. In portions of Cuba, this western part, only around three of them showing it striking Granma in Cuba there, that province around. So that's around a 6% chance it makes landfall there. And every single other ensemble member now shows it making landfall in Santiago de Cuba there. This whole province right here, that's around a 94% chance of it making landfall there. So we're very I believe that's all of them there. It's going to be making landfall there at that intensity. Now I will let you, or making landfall in that location, and I will let you mention the intensity that it could be making landfall at. If it lets me. Sorry about that. That's not all. Hold on. I'm trying to circle this for you to show you the.
It's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be a Category 4 based off the recent runs and forecast track. It does appear to be a Category 4, maybe a Category 3, but probably Category 4. Is what it's looking like. If it makes landfall in Jamaica as a Category 5, it could likely strike as a Category 4 in Cuba. But as of the recent look, it looks to be a Category 3.
Just trying to see what's the strongest member. The strongest member has it making landfall likely with winds of 150 miles an hour. That's the high end that this system has.
That's high-end Category 4, but what it looks like the consensus is Category 3.
Yes. Currently, I'm forecasting Category 4 by, this is not tomorrow night, it's going to be Wednesday morning as a Category 4, and then by Wednesday night, it's going to be over Cuba as a Category 2. I believe this forecast has slowed down a little bit, so I think it's slowed down a bit.
Might have to update it now, boy. I'm just kidding. Anyways.
No, I mean, I've slowed it down as of the most recent forecast. Oh, goodness.
All right.
I've adjusted,
All right.
but this, I may need to adjust this even further because of its slow movement right now. It may prolong that landfall time in Jamaica.
Yes. Welcome, Sharky. Thank you. This guy asked. Thank you very much. It's really, really nice to be here helping out Chase.
They use Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I saw that. I was
Yes.
like, gosh dang it.
Yes.
That's so confusing because, like, I mean, they're the same time as me, and I'm in Central Time.
Yeah,
I live in the central Midwestern U.S., so I get Central Daylight Time right now. So same time as me, but when I go back to Central Standard, then you'll guys be an hour behind me.
Yes.
You guys be an hour ahead of me, but right now same time because of daylight savings in U.S. I guess Jamaica doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Someone said that Jamaica does not have that.
Yep.
Cool.
Learn something new
That's
every day.
interesting.
Did not know that. I know that it was Eastern Standard Time, but I found it weird. Like, okay, I guess they don't have it.
I think my mom knew that because I mean, the reason why this is so personal for me for Jamaica is because my mom was in, I think she was near Ocho Rios when she went
Okay.
to Jamaica. I've always wanted to visit Jamaica too, but
So we've got to visit sometime.
hmm honestly, I'm gonna say this too. Something I noticed definitely is the eastern half of Jamaica, mainly. Sometimes I think the western half too, full of mountains. And I think I saw a
Hmm.
picture from Cuba of someone who's in Cuba took a picture of across the sea or across the water. You could see how mountainous Jamaica was. It's
Wow.
crazy because that does not help the landslide potential. That is just it just
Hmm.
makes me scared.
I mean, it's 100
Because
miles away.
I
You
think
can see it from there.
And something that is worth mentioning too is I think the four people who died in Haiti was from a landslide.
Okay, yeah. Landslides are deadly with this storm, and there's going to be catastrophic impacts for a large portion of Jamaica, mainly southwestern Jamaica. But the rest of Jamaica is expected to get moderate to major impacts as well in terms of the flash flooding, so landslides are going to be a concern there. And then there's also the catastrophic impacts in Cuba as well, mainly Granma and Santiago de Cuba provinces there, so again, catastrophic impacts in terms of landslides, like you're mentioning. People have already, unfortunately, passed away in Haiti, and now we may see more in Jamaica and Cuba.
Yes, so the I think three of them were in a landslide. Another one was by a falling tree. That's also something worth mentioning.
Yes.
It's something I've seen a lot from Milton and Helene are that falling trees are a lot of these fatalities. Basically, what I've seen for the last year, a lot of fatalities have been from falling trees on either homes with someone inside or just from someone who was outside and got hit by a falling tree. So, again, falling trees, biggest concern, stay away from trees, please. Trees away from the bottom of a big steep hill in a valley. There's someone who was killed in the Dominican Republic from when he was in a valley and it got flooded.
Oh, wow. Can you find out the
Yeah,
Haiti and
swept
what
away in a flooded valley.
parishes?
Hmm, what?
Or like, oh, sorry, what Haiti, or sorry, dang it, sorry, no. I mean, Jamaica, what parishes did the people pass away from?
Let me see. I don't know if I can find three people died of indirect causes, and they were in Hanover, St. Catherine, and St. Elizabeth.
Oh, whoa, Hanover. Okay, Hanover's in northwestern part of Jamaica there. And where was the others? You said St.
Yeah,
Catherine?
Hanover, the northwestern, St. Catherine, and St. Elizabeth.
St.
So these are
Elizabeth as
all over
well,
the
okay.
place in Jamaica, actually.
Yes.
If you look at your rainfall map,
Yep, let me
you
pull it
can
up
see
here.
how spread apart they are. St.
One in
Catherine
here.
on the southern side there, and then St. Elizabeth and Hanover. Those were the three fatalities have occurred so far.
It's deadly throughout Jamaica, really. All of
Yeah,
Jamaica's
so
seeing
again,
impacts.
all of Jamaica is going to see impacts from this. I'm just the fact that we already have three and it's not even there yet. It's now making that north turn, which is scaring me. Actually, wait, what? It's jogging directly north now. It's not moving northeast anymore.
Hmm.
It could be looping again.
Like someone in chat says, "OMG, this is serious," but my sis-in-law's name is Melissa, and we always joke on how slow she does things. And when this hurricane first formed, we joked about how it's just like her. Keep safe, guys. Yeah, moving. It's moving slow.
Low like sibling.
Yes. So
Isn't
yeah, I'm
that
just gonna
ironic?
save this. Yeah. Um.
Oh, you,
Let's.
you
Just,
screenshotted
yes,
that.
gonna save
That's
that. Yes.
crazy.
I know
That's
someone
crazy.
else who also has a sister named Melissa. So yes. Refresh
Google
Google AI.
AI.
Yep, I will now go over those percentages.
Google AI shift again. Okay.
Let's see,
My
what do
twin
they want?
sister's name is Melissa from Jamaica. Oh, oh yeah, Melissa's a very common name. Could explain why it's a hurricane name. If you think about it.
Let's see. Yeah, it's not.
Sometimes
The
they use
Google
the
AI
most common
ensembles
names.
aren't updated yet. Just yet.
Yeah, yeah, they're not updated yet. So twin sister's named Melissa. So
Yes.
yeah, Melissa's a very common name. I'm gonna say that's probably why it's a hurricane name. They picked the most common names. I mean, for the earliest name lists. I
Mm-hmm.
think now they're starting to run out. I'd say that's why you have names like I'm gonna say like I don't know which list it is, but Gert. I'm gonna say that's one awkward name.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, say instead of Ferdinand, they use Fernand. That's
Mm-hmm.
different.
I think that's Spanish. I'm not. I'm not sure.
Could be. And I guess the different spelling of Rebecca, I've never seen it spelled like that. So, I mean, it's interesting. What will happen to Westmoreland tonight? Just came in.
Ooh, okay,
Question.
Westmoreland. Let's see. Let's see here.
Westmoreland. Looks like you guys are going to see. Well, tonight.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, yeah, tonight. I'll discuss it. In Westmoreland, your impacts are going to be continuing to deteriorate overnights, maybe getting some gusty winds and some of these outer rain bands, as you can see on here. Just starting to approach western Westmoreland there. Those heavier rainfall rates. So it's not the core of the system just yet. The core will be approaching you by tomorrow morning, maybe by tomorrow afternoon, potentially if it keeps looking like it's going to be on the western end of the forecast. It is moving a little bit to the northeast, so it may move towards your east instead. I think that this might have just been a temporary shift, and it's going to go right back to the forecast in track. It looks like. What do you think, Sharkius?
Let's see. The recent update I'm seeing, it looks like it's moving due north almost now, but it still does appear to be moving northeast. It looks like it's going a little bit more north than what I originally saw,
Mm-hmm.
but it still probably is likely going to follow its track now.
Yes.
I don't know. It looked like for a second it was going to loop again, but it looks like it is finally jogging to the northeast and it's going to stay going that direction. So I don't think it's going to loop again. I think it's going directly northeast now. It has been speeding up based on what
Okay.
I'm seeing. So
And it has been moving slower than the Hurricane Center forecast, so I do think that the landfall timing is going to be pushed back a little bit,
yes.
which let's hope it weakens during that time.
Is it stalling again? Let's see.
Wait, it's 925 now? Is that the pressure they got in the storm? Let me check.
There's no way it's weakened that much.
No, the recon plane has not gone into it just yet. They are
Oh,
expected to
must
enter
mean time.
Hmm?
Time, Chase. Time.
Oh, okay, my bad, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I was like,
Let's
huh?
see.
925 millibars? And
Probably, probably because last time you asked me to say the chat too much
Yes.
when it was behind. So let's see. Is Melissa
Yes.
stalling again? Let's see. Melissa is not stalling. It is now moving towards Jamaica at this moment. It was stalled for quite a while. It stayed in about the same place for about, let's see. So it stopped right here, and this is where it's been the same since 5:10. And it finally started jogging a little bit at 8:10. So about almost 3 hours it's been stationary.
Wow.
2 hours it's been stationary. Nearly 3.
Let me see if I can show the last... I'm trying to figure out how to get this website to work again. Okay, I can do this. I will go back towards the past. There's a way... I think that this was a different website, though. Okay. I will go to the past. It's that time right now, and I'm going to go back even earlier, and I will show... Let's see. You said it's been going on for like the past 3 hours or so? So I'll go
2 to
even
3,
before
yeah. 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm. So here, I'll show like the past few hours in terms of its motion, what it's done during that. So each of these frames is an hour right here. So yeah, you can see that northeastern jog at that very end. Let's see, is one of these frames not working?
Oh, look at it doing that. Look at it doing that little loop like Wilma, though.
Yes. Much colder cloud tops in the most recent hours as well.
Yeah.
Starting to move more to the northeast there in that last hour. Let's see, then
Honestly, I don't know if someone's going to ask you this question, but someone did last time. What do you think your intensity is for this right now?
My intensity right now, analysis, I'd say probably 155 knots, so I'd say around 180 miles an hour. That's due to conversions from recon. That's experimental. I'd say that did support around 180 miles an hour, and the pressure would most likely support around 180 miles an hour with the system solid storm. It's not sub 900 millibars yet.
Not yet. Let's see. And someone's holding a pole.
Oh yeah, I'm doing a poll there. Oh yeah, guys, I want to ask you, what kind of cone do you prefer more out of these two? I'm going to show you. Do you prefer this kind of style of cone, my kind of style of cone, or do you prefer the National Hurricane Center, their style of cone, if I can pull that up here, or the National Hurricane Center's cone. I personally think mine is a little bit more practical because it more so focuses on impacts than just warnings. Because then you can be in a hurricane warning and not see many impacts, like the northwestern or the central Bahamas there highlighted for a hurricane warning, but could maybe only see marginal impacts from it, marginal to slight impacts. And like parts of the Haiti are in a tropical storm warning, not really highlighted as anything there. Southern Haiti's only under a tropical storm warning, and they could see moderate impacts. So I think this does a little bit better. But if you guys prefer the National Hurricane Center, vote on that. It's there for the poll. Really helps out just to get a little bit of feedback.
Yours are pretty similar, so I would say I'd probably go with yours personally because you update yours a lot more than they do.
No, I mean they update theirs a lot more than I do, but in terms of it's mainly style is what I'm going for, style and impacts.
Get down! My
What's
cat's on
up?
my lap. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
Band 14. I'm trying to look at it right now. Hold on. Seeing some more Melissa here since you don't have a lot of questions. Someone said that their intensity right now is 185 to 195.
Wow.
miles per
Okay.
hour.
I'm
That's
not.
a
I'm
little
not
high.
sure about it being that strong. It could be. It could very well be. We're getting a recon pass any moment now that will investigate the northeastern quadrant.
It's probably likely the strongest area of the hurricane right now is that northeast
Yes.
side.
Okay, they're about to go through it right now. They had a little bit of a data loss before they got to it, but they're about to enter it. Looks like.
Oh boy. They better not miss DI, bro.
They shouldn't say. I hope not.
Like they did with Milton. Ugh, that pissed me off.
Yes.
It really drove me crazy that happened. Is Melissa still heading towards Jamaica? Yes. It currently is right now. It finally made that northeast jog everyone is waiting for.
Yep. Here it is.
It is heading directly towards Jamaica now.
That's what it looks
They
like
got
on
it?
a zoomed-in view, and then here it is on satellite. They're now moving northeast towards Jamaica. Now, would you say that that's northeast or northeast?
Based on what I'm looking at,
It's more
it
of a
looked more
loop, right?
north. It looks more
Yeah.
northeast. It looks like it has looped over itself again because when it stalled, it just went south and then went north.
Yes.
South and east and north.
See if I can get that on here.
It literally pulled a
Like that.
Wilma. Like this is exactly what Wilma did.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have peaked likely right there, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Now, it is going to be going under a jet interaction here, and I do want to discuss what that is, which could allow for it to intensify even farther, or even higher than it already has. If we pull up this, now that the model runs are coming out, less people are awake, so now the website's working. If we take a look at the 200 millibar winds, these are the upper level winds right now, and we go a little bit earlier, it was mainly just under an upper level anticyclone. Now what it's going to do is it's going to be under a jet interaction right here. There's going to be a subtropical jet stream impacting parts of Florida there. This is going to allow for it to get enhanced outflow, pretty much exhaust for the storm, which will allow for it to try to intensify even further. If it doesn't undergo an eye wall replacement cycle, this will allow it to intensify even further before making landfall in Jamaica, which is really bad news. Jet interactions are pretty severe with some of these strongest hurricanes and tropical cyclones on record. Really helps them bomb out, and with storms like this, they help them reach even higher than their maximum potential intensity is supposed to be.
Oh my goodness! It performed a merger eye wall replacement cycle again. So this means it's likely not going to perform an eye wall replacement cycle, and it is going to intensify even further with that jet stream that or jet interaction that Chase just talked about there. Excuse me.
Yes.
It is definitely going to intensify even further. I expect it to. I don't know if it's going to go sub 900. It very well could tonight. I don't know if it will, but I think it's mainly going to get to 901, maybe a little bit stronger than Katrina. I don't think it's going to get lower than 900. Maybe. It just depends on how well it interacts with that jet.
Yes. Oh man, the
And if it
latest
doesn't
imagery
undergo
here, just
that.
all the pink all around it.
I know. It's a pink donut at this point. It's not good.
Was Milton even this good? I don't think so.
No, no.
Yeah.
Milton never had, actually, wait. Let me go look at one of my outros real quick on my YouTube channel. That'll show me
I
if it
swear
did or not.
Milton was just like a pink ring, not a whole. It was mostly white.
Let me check Milton.
The
No,
second
Milton never
strong.
looked that. No, Milton never looked that good at peak and
Yeah.
never had a donut.
And also, you'll notice though, thanks to the jet interaction, there's going to be a lot better outflow on the northern side. This is actually kind of some of those outflow cirruses approaching Florida. There, no impacts for Florida, just some of those outer outflow clouds there, really looking like a healthy tropical cyclone. All these like little spikes on it just show all the exhaust from the system coming out of it. So really
It looks
allowing
just
for it
like
to
Milton
intensify
right
further.
now.
Yes.
It looks just like Milton at peak right now. Look at that. That's
Yes.
crazy. It's literally a Milton clone, Milton 2.0 here.
Wow.
And the fact that it's almost the same intensity too right now is crazy.
Yes, and it's a pinhole eye storm, I think.
Yeah, the eye's smaller than 10. I think it's 9 now.
Let me take a look at distance here from.
Second strongest hurricane of the decade by far, someone said. I agree with you, actually. I think it is the second strongest of the decade. Behind Milton.
In the North
It's
Atlantic.
tougher, stronger than
Yes.
Beryl. Yeah, strongest in the North Atlantic, yes.
Yes.
Strongest hurricane of the decade, yes.
Yes,
100%.
yeah.
Could rival number one here. If it probably could beat Milton tonight, but we'll see. Let's see. What are you measuring here?
Oh, just distance across the eye. This shows that it being around 14 miles wide, at least from pixel to pixel there. Maybe 13 miles wide, but I'm not sure what would be considered the eye there, and because you could consider
I'm
only this
sure-
part of it's 10 miles.
I say like the last, not the green pixels, but like where it starts the gray pixel.
Over
Yeah,
here,
it's about
like
10.
this.
It's about 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
that one. Okay, never mind. The other gray. Yeah, this gray. Okay, yes. There's two
Yeah.
grays. Yes. I just realized.
The darker gray, the darker gray, like inside even further.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the darker grays.
Yep.
I'd say it's about it before it clears.
Yep. So yeah,
Oh,
9 miles.
I think recon got through. I think check it.
Right. Yes, Recon
9.
went almost through the storm. Looks like they're about to go through it.
Oh,
They
we're
did
about to
get the
go through it.
strongest
Let's see
winds.
what we got. Oh boy.
Right, and I'm probably going to be wrapping up the stream shortly because it's been quite a long one, and I'm going to be mainly doing it. I would say
Tomorrow
I'm mainly
morning.
going to be because I need to wake up early tomorrow. Just do that stream then. This has been 3.5 hours so far, so I'm going to be ending it in the next 5 minutes.
I'll try to get up early too. I'll set alarms so I can get up for that.
Yes. It shouldn't be as early as I initially said. Okay. Looks like I got
I'll
pushed
still
back a little bit.
go- I'll shoot for 9 a.m.
Mhm.
Or are you
Right.
gonna be sooner than that?
So Sharkius, I'll see you later. Okay. I'll
Yep, sounds
close
good.
it
You
out.
go ahead and wrap it up.
Yes.
Yep.
Guys, give a huge thank you to Sharkius for his help in covering for me when I was out for a little bit. Had to eat something. Huge thanks to him, guys. Guys, give a round of applause to Sharkius there for his help with this. Really helps. Yes, gets my or helps me get my information out to all you guys there, and helps keep you guys engaged and trying to ask more questions, things like that. Really helpful to have someone like him to help me on such short notice.
Oh yeah, always got my bros back. And,
Yes.
Important to say before we wrap up here. Again, on the most recent move here on Zoom, it looks like it is moving northeast, not northeast. So it is going directly on its track now.
Okay. Yes. Well, I'll see you later, Sharkius. Let's hope
Yes.
he'll be available for the next one.
I'll try to be. I'm setting up alarms so I can get up this morning. I think
Nice.
got to be around 8 or something.
All right. We'll
I'll
see you,
do so.
Sharkius. Have a good night.
See ya. You too, man.
Very thankful for Sharkius there for his help with helping cover for me. Now, briefly just going over one last time for the impacts here. I'll go over the impacts one last time and kind of discussing the next live streams. There will be another live stream as it's making landfall in Jamaica to keep you guys updated on what kind of impacts are happening and where. In terms of as its eye wall starts moving inland. because this could be a very historic landfall. I don't really see how it's not going to be. Landfall is going to be within the next potentially 12 hours or so. Does not really have a whole lot of time to weaken if it wanted to weaken, so I feel like a Category 5 landfall is going to be happening in western Jamaica. Just depends on where it does make that landfall. There will be as well another stream, most likely on tomorrow night, just discussing. Tomorrow night will be more here. I'll use two different colors here. Okay, I'm going to use the red for the landfall coverage stream right there, and then I am going to be doing a little bit of an update stream. By the time it makes. Okay, sorry, I'm going to try and figure out how to do this properly. I'm going to be doing a little bit of an update live stream then tomorrow night, discussing the system again, its impacts in Jamaica, another forecast cone, and talking about mainly Cuba and then the Bahamas and Bermuda, those impacts there. Then I will be doing another landfall live stream. This would be overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Before Wednesday morning, there will be another landfall live stream there. So that would be the third landfall live stream. And then I'm planning to do a fourth one there by the time it moves through the Bahamas there. Potentially a landfall live stream, potentially an update video. All depends on my classes in college for that day. And then I am planning to do one again on, potentially, depending on the code level, I could be doing one on. This would be a Thursday night, I believe, as well. So we got a total of 4 live streams at least being planned for the system, and then we'll probably have one more as it's nearing Bermuda. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your help, or all your viewership and things like that. I'm really thankful to be getting all this information out to you guys. I do want to mention. I do want to mention the fact that I do have other social media platforms, so if you want to stay up to date more often than just the YouTube live streams, you can follow me on there. I have multiple platforms here on X. You can follow me on at @hurricane_chase. There, I post a lot of updates there. You can also, I recommend you guys follow me on Instagram as well, at @hurricanechaserchase. That'd be really helpful for me. And Facebook and Blue Sky, mainly if you use those platforms. If you use them the most frequently, consider following me there, cyclone tracking. And you can join the Discord at discord.gg/chasesstorm. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will be making landfall potentially at around, looks like around 11 a.m. for you guys. So I will likely be doing a stream probably as early as, let's see, probably start at around 9 a.m. 9 a.m. for you guys is probably when I'm going to be trying to start. So guys, again, who's going to be there in that live stream? I'm curious, who's going to be watching at like 9 a.m. to around 1 p.m.-ish? Who's going to be there? Who am I going to see in the chat? Let's see, Trigon, I've seen you a lot of the times. Same with Lisbeth. Okay, yeah, some of you guys have school, yep. Now, hopefully, I'd expect it to be canceled in Jamaica. Yes, it will be on YouTube. Yes, I'll see you redeemed. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next live stream, which is unfortunately going to be when it makes that catastrophic landfall in Jamaica. It's really sucks that the next time I'm going to be live is just going to be when it's devastating Jamaica. Well, I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Stay safe in the meantime.